Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I hope everybody's doing great tonight. Welcome to Elite Week. Let's go ahead and introduce people to get this party started. First off, we have, as always, Arson Cross, who is on the technical side. Say hello, Arson.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Say a little more just for sound check purposes.
Sound checking my sound with the sound of my voice to see if it sounds okay.
Beautiful. Everybody got plenty there. All right. Next up, we've got my good buddy Dubs. If you remember Dubs from the stream that we did with Down to Earth Astronomy, say hello, Dubs.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here, Kai.
Right on, brother.
Here's your audio for the sound check.
Thanks. And we have Commander Tweaked of the OPI. Now, Tweaked and Dubs are both part of the extended family of the Galactic Water Cooler. So you're going to see them pop in from time to time, guest hosting. Say hi, Tweaked.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday night tonight.
Yes, yes. And lastly, we have our guest for the night. We've got Commander Rear Admiral Flaps, or Flaps, as I call him all the time. Say hello, Flaps.
Hey everyone. It's great to be here, and thanks for having me on, guys. Really
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so quick sound check. Everybody heard everybody talking there. Does anybody need to go up a little? Does anybody need to go down a little? Give us your thoughts. And while you're doing that, I'm going to start saying hello and welcome to everybody on the stream before we go into recording mode and get that all sorted. So we've got Commander Broken Wan. Hello, hello. We've got Frody 131. Good to see you, brother. We've got that English gent. Hey, hey, man. We've got Pixie Wifey. Hello, hello. We've got Mr. Bishbosh. Hello, hello. Okay. Quiz Engine. There you go. Hello, all. Looking forward to a war tomorrow. Absolutely. We've got Yuna Sakashiro. Hello, hello, Yuna. I am so sorry. Fee is still dealing with family stuff, so he is not here tonight. But your story is going to continue. And at this point, if he's still dealing with family stuff, I may assign it to Arson and make him read it out next week. But we're glad to have you here. We've got Commander Single Malt Scotty. How you doing, brother? And the Winter Mute. Hello, hello. And of course, my man DJ Wiley, Space Hero. How you doing, brother? And he's saying hi to Dubs. Okay. And Tweak. No hi to me. All right, that's fine. Whatever. This seems to be everyone. Where is Commander Flaps from? His accent sounds familiar. I think that'll be Belfast.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
There you go. There you go. Hey, so just for background, DJ Wiley is a fellow Irishman, so that's why he's digging on the accent. DJ, you're gonna have to come sit in with us one of these weeks, man. If you're just gonna stay up all this late to be here, you gotta come in on the party, my brother. Belfast people represent. Yes.
Belfast.
Belfast. All right. Whew. How's it sound? Good? Everybody says sound. So we got sound good, sound audio fine. Okay. Cool. All right. Everybody loose. Everybody ready to crack one open. We're going to go ahead and let's get us rocking. Arson, start off with the song, and we'll come back from the song, go right into the podcast opening. Just as another heads up for everybody, we kind of do the whole, intro part first, and then we start the recording. So we're going to be doing a little bit less of the, chat direct whatever, but we're so glad that you're here. Thank you very much. Don't forget to do all the stuff. All right. Rock out, Arson. Arson? I'm not hearing anything, Arson. Started and then stopped.
You come so far, and now you're in my own backyard. And I've been minding all my own business, minding all the stones I can't see. It all revolves around me. You turned the fool. Before you even scanned me, I knew. 'Cause I've been minding all my own business, minding all the stones I can see. But now you've come for me. Put away your guns, put away your threats and your taunts, they don't mean that much to me. Put away my boy, don't come here no more, or you'll find out there's much more to me. Quickly drop the pain and fly. But I got something in my heart for you, something that you might wanna see. I'll set the baby free, oh, don't be fooled. This top 10 ain't no big heavy mule. Oh, it's been engineered to death for you, hope you'll be impressed as your shields fall to hell, boy. Put away your guns, put away your threats and your taunts, they don't mean that much to me. Put away my boy, jump to cruise my boy, your high wake is the last thing I see. Oh.
Hello? Why am I not hearing anything?
I hear nothing either. Nothing at all until you spoke.
Did the song just die?
No. So I started introducing myself, but I realized my mic was muted. The intro's over. We're actually in the podcast now.
Lovely. All right. Well, we're gonna edit this as well. All right, folks. Jesus fucking Christ. We're starting off great tonight, aren't we? All right. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen and go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elite Week, episode 28, Galactic Water Cooler. This is Friday, August the 7th, 2020. How are you doing? My name is Kai Zen, and I'm going to need that. With us tonight, we've got Commander ARSON Cross. Say hello, ARSON.
Good evening, everybody. It's happy to be here as usual.
All right.
And confused, apparently.
We're gonna just the robot that is Arson is here. All right. Also, we've got Commander Dubs. Say hi, Dubs.
Hey, everybody.
All right, a man of many words.
Yeah,
And
I
we-
got one thing. So my wife just called. I got to go help the neighbor move a refrigerator, so I will be back in like 5 minutes.
All right. And next up, we've got Commander Tweaked, unless he has to go move a refrigerator. Say hi, Tweaked.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday night. Let's crack some open and have a good time tonight.
Hell yes. And our special guest, Commander Rear Admiral Flaps. Say hello, Flaps.
Hello, everyone. I'm a few beers deep already, so I'm looking forward to this chat indeed.
Well, you can tell that our crack crew is on their top game at the moment. So, yeah, this will be perfect. All right, so let's start with the standard intro. The very first thing I want to say before we do anything else is give a huge happy birthday to my man, ALEC Turner of the Buckyball Race Club. So, yeah, man, happy birthday, ALEC. ALEC had an awesome day today and then went and got himself a brand new monitor to be playing Elite Dangerous in pretty mode. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very happy birthday to ALEC Turner, indeed.
Absolutely. All right. This is the part where I do all the things that I'm supposed to do. So let's get it rocking. Our Discord is up another 130 some odd people from last week. Last week it was 1731. As of today, earlier when I checked, it was at 1,864 members and counting. So congratulations to everybody for joining the party. And thank you. We appreciate you being here. All right. Let's start off with all of the plugs. Elite Week. If you're watching this on YouTube, live or later recorded, obviously, you know to get to youtube.com/Elite Week. If you're watching us and you're like, yeah, I watched it, but I'd rather hear later on the cleaned up version where you edit it all down and take out all the bullshit, you could listen to it on the podcast at anchor.fm/Elite Week. If you need to get a hold of us, you can do so by writing something in the comment section, or you can just mail us at eliteweek3306@gmail.com. It will forever haunt me that when I typed in eliteweek@gmail.com, it said, nope, that's taken. Screw you. My Twitter, if you want to read my Twitter and read my ramblings, which nobody should ever, don't do it. It's twitter.com/Kai19103. Just my name and my zip code, because I made this before I started playing Elite Dangerous, and I didn't know that it would be dumb to use my name and my zip code. And anybody that wants to find me, you can come find me. Just go to 19103 and then walk around and say, hey, man, where's that one weird dude that flies spaceships? The Discord, if you want to join, is tinyurl.com/Elite Week Discord. All one word. All right. So, if you want to leave a comment on any aspect of the show, you can do it in the comments section. You can do it by email at the email address that we told you. And you can also just come into the Discord and go into the community feedback, or show, if it's about the feedback question, or, show suggestions or anything else. All of these things that I just read out to you, all of those things will be in the show notes. Wherever you get this, however you get this, it'll be there. Click on the links and do all the things, because that's cool. Please make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube and click the little bell icon, because it sounds cool when other people say it. And we record live on YouTube every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's midnight UTC, 1 a.m. British Summer Time. You crazy, kooky British people that are still up listening to this. But come on in and join the fun. And when you come in, bring some drinks, because Elite Week is not your average news show. It is a news show / talk show / Friday night. Let's get crunk party. All right. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcast or Podbeam or whatever the hell other things that we don't know about, please rate us. Just put a little rating and say nice things or something. That would be cool. And let us know if there is a format that you want us to look into. Like, hey, man, you guys aren't on, I don't know, podcastwidget.gov or whatever. And, we'll look into it, whatever. We don't do Patreon, so save your money. Just tell your friends about the show. Let's get this party started. Right off the bat, we're going to start with an interview of my man, Rear Admiral Flaps. So Flaps, I want to say right off the bat, in the show notes, his Discord link will be right there. I'm not going to read it out because it's like word salad or letter salad, but it's there. His Twitch is twitch.tv/Rear Admiral Flaps, all one word, no underscores, no spaces, no nothing. And his Twitter is twitter.com/FlapsRear. No underscores, no spaces, and no questions about why he chose that one.
I
Flaps.
didn't choose that name. That name was given to me.
Right on. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Beautiful. As everyone can hear from your accent, you're clearly Indian. And yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and life in I'm blanking.
Belfast.
There you go. No, I was trying to think of like a real cool like Indian place, like in the Sundarbans. But yes, you live in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
Yes, Northern Ireland indeed. Yeah, so my name is Rear Admiral Flaps. I'm formerly known as Flappy Flap around the community. Some people may have seen me floating from channel to channel, trying to sub-bomb people and just trying to wind up people, as the Irish humour as it is. Yeah, so before I was known as Rear Admiral Flaps, I was known as Flappy Flap, and then I decided to give myself a promotion one day. Whenever I got talked into starting a stream. So I didn't think Flappy Flap sounded overly good to have a stream name with, so decided to promote myself to Rear Admiral Flaps.
Nice.
I then I realized I made a mistake. I am Imperial aligned in the game, and I have a Federation rank.
Well, okay, so you have to keep in mind, though, that Admiral Denton Petraeus is, in fact, an admiral of the Empire, so you're still good. You're covered.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, but yeah, okay. I'll take that next time somebody challenges me on it. That'll be my answer.
There you go. You hit him with that lore bomb.
That's it. But yeah, for anyone who has realised where my accent's from, I'm from a lovely place called Belfast. It's a famous city for all the wrong reasons, probably. We built the Titanic. It sank. We tend to fight with each other quite a lot.
You guys have really good munchie boxes, so you got that going for you.
We do, yeah. We also have probably the best hangover cure in the world, at least in my opinion. An Irish fry up. An Irish fry up is just different level. You have a hangover. Look it up on or Google, YouTube, whatever it may be. Look up an Irish fry, and you will lose your hangover instantly.
Lots of grease, lots of potatoes, meat. Got some onions, got some stuff. Yeah. That and some of them do that with the fried up bread too in there. That stuff's good.
Yeah, potato bread and soda bread. That's what you want, man. A wee bit of sauce over the top of that. Oh, bit of bacon. That's what you want. It was literally sent by the Thargoids to us.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll take that mycoid virus because that shit is delicious.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about your streams, Flaps. When do you stream and what do you stream?
Okay, so I'm primarily an Elite Dangerous streamer, but I've over the last few days, at least anyway, started branching out into other things, but I'm going to stick as an Elite Dangerous streamer. I started streaming about a month ago, and my schedule is going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'm going to do my streams from 8:30 GMT, or at least thereabouts. And then I'll take Fridays and Saturdays off to spend with my other half before I get murdered.
And so you do a lot of exploration stuff, but you also get into the whole conspiracy tinfoil hattery of it all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So so I've only just started streaming about a month ago. So I've sort of been here, there, and everywhere over the last month. But yeah, it primarily started off as my idea as a streamer was to just help new players get started in the game because
Mhm.
I needed the help whenever I got started in the game. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's try and pass on that information because this game has a learning cliff, not a curve.
Yeah, it
but a
does.
cliff.
Yeah, it
But
does.
whenever I first started Elite Dangerous, like I gave up after a few days because it was just too much for me to handle. And then eventually went back to the game and I fell in with the Twitch community, and then they helped me along the way. So I wanted to try and pass that along, and that was going to be the idea in the streams. But that has changed ever so slightly. I still want to help the other new players coming into the game, but it's quickly progressed into what you've been in my streams, like a podcast style stream. And a few of the conversations that we've had have been Elite Dangerously, or one that always sticks out in my mind was our Flat Earth night.
That was a hoot. We yeah, man, we had a good time with that.
Oh yeah, I think we had about eight, 9 people in the chat, and we just went through flat Earth conspiracies. I actually renamed my stream that night, Flat Earth Society. We were getting people coming in saying, why is this guy streaming a space game and he's named it Flat Earth Society?" But yeah, that turned into be a pretty awesome stream. But yeah, it's evolved pretty much into a podcast style stream and a bit of exploration, as you said. And since I've met Commander Guru and Grinning Crow, it's been a bit of a lore hunter over the last wee while as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You've been having a good time. Well, I just want to apologize now for just sort of barging into your streams and changing your whole format. And yeah, Americans are a bit of dicks, so you're just gonna have to.
No,
You know.
man, I actually appreciate it more than anything because it gave me, whenever I started streaming, I didn't really have much direction. I was just going, I don't really know what way I'm going to go with this. But since then, I've found direction and I've found a way to do it.
You've been doing really well with it too. When you look at your stream numbers or whatever, there's been plenty of times I look over and it's like, oh wow, there's, like 90 people in here. There's, a bunch of people.
Yeah, man, it's like I have the community to thank as well. I get hit with some very kind raids at the very start, which has helped my following along. But yeah, I counted it today. It was 425 followers, I think, in 1 month. So,
Wow. That is legit, man. That is legit.
not bad.
So, all right. So in addition to your you've done a lot of exploration stuff. You've done some tinfoil hattery stuff. Let's get a little bit, just delve just a teeny bit into some of the specifics of the tinfoil hattery stuff. Let's talk about the Formidine Rift sites with the listening post and the static that you found and things that you're looking into and some interesting stuff you might have coming up. I'm not asking you to give all the secrets away, but just a little something to tickle people's fancy and let them know why they need to come check out your stuff.
So yeah, what he's talking about with Formidine stuff. So I'm a big fan of the Reclamation books, and I'm currently reading through Premonition, and I love looking for clues within the game, within those books, in case any of those clues have been missed. So I created a ship, an Imperial Clipper called Kahina's Tribute, which Kahina means Salome, and I decided I was going to do a Formidine Rift tour and just go out and follow the Salome Trail, as I like to call it. Just go around all the sort of POIs, point of interests, and just follow the story. So I got out to the abandoned settlements, and one of the abandoned settlements, the Gamma site in particular, had this sort of like listening post style layout. And I had Pixie Wifey, who's actually in the chat there. She says, it's really strange if you look top down on top of this site. It kind of has like the shape of the site is like, it almost looks like a guardian sort of layout. So I was like, okay, cool. So looked down, and I noticed that there's like a shadow on the ground that looked like an arrow that pointed directly towards this building. So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Why does that look like an arrow? So on closer inspection, we saw this rotating transmitter style thing. And it turned out I spent days, yourself, I spent days looking at this thing, staring at this thing, and we've noticed that it's actually a gyro, spinning on the inside, spinning on the outside. It's got gears turning the whole thing, and every now and again it emitted off this static, but the static was irregular. Like there's no pattern to it. It was just you could sit there for 2 hours, get nothing, then all of a sudden you would get 4 or 5 bursts of static. Then you would sit there for 15 minutes, then it would go off again. There was no pattern to it, which is quite rare in the game. You don't find that sort of stuff. And the more I dug into it, I sort of found that nobody else had really noticed this before. So I've been chasing that static around. So I've been following the Dynasty sites, and then went out to the Conflux and was, wonder, does this static exist in the Conflux? Went to the Conflux, found one of those transmitters, sat there. The static came along. I was like, okay, this is getting really interesting now. Out to Hawkins Gap, done the same thing, found the static. So I'm still working on the static. I've found different bits of static here, there, and everywhere. I think I went to one of the penal colonies beside Maya last night, and noticed that the Thargoid seemed that was scanning the penal colony was very interested in something in particular. So it's still a work in progress at this minute, but yeah, I've been following static for the last few weeks.
It's interesting stuff, man. I mean, it's kind of a situation where it's like you don't know when you're looking at something and you find something new that hasn't been reported or that you haven't, sort of seen. And when I say haven't been reported, I mean, I literally checked into it with Canon Interstellar. They did a deep dive search of their records, and the answer that I got back, which I shared with you, Flaps, was something along the nature of, yeah, somebody saw it, they noted it, they looked into it, they couldn't figure out anything to do with it, so it just kind of meh. And then there was one of the guys from the council at Canon that was like, I'm actually interested in this. I'm going to look into this and I'll get back to you if I find anything. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. But I mean, so at least it's not like, oh, this is a thing. Canon already dealt with it, 2 years ago. It's nothing. Yeah. It's maybe something, we don't know, but it's definitely something that merits further research, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. And like it was, as a friend said to me before, like I'm a casual gamer. I don't claim to know anything about anything really. Like all the science sort of stuff I leave to all you guys. I'm just a guy who just flies around in a ship. But sometimes it just takes a pair of eyes who doesn't know what they're looking for to find something of interest, as a friend said to me once. So yeah, maybe that's why I spotted it. Nobody else did. I don't know. But we'll find out.
Yeah, man. And don't let Wotherspoon distract you from the path with he's trying to tempt you. Begone, foul temptress. Well, tempter. With his loam square sausage, potato bread, black pudding, potato farls, soda bread. No. We're not falling for that. We're sticking with this signal. Or maybe both.
He's not wrong at the same time. That's all pretty good stuff as well.
All right. So so let's hit it one last time, Flaps. For the people that are like, man, this guy's very chill, and the idea of what he was talking about with that mystery is interesting. I want to look into this. I want to look into that. Hit up us again real quick with the stream times when they can see you.
Yeah, so it'll be Sunday through to Thursday, and I generally stream anywhere in around 8:30 GMT. Sometimes it's around about 9, just depends on my work schedule, but it's always there or thereabouts.
All right. So, Flap, stay with us as we go through the rest of the show, because we want your input on this, the week that is in Elite. All right?
Sure.
Beautiful. All right, guys, let's mix it up. Let's start with the Dark Wheel update. All right, here's where we're at. We're in all the systems we were at before. We're over 50% in Anyanwu. Yeah, we've been there. There is active opposition now in Anyanwu. We know it. We see it. There are people that are working, and it's one of those situations where I think for the most part, the vast majority of them seem to be working in solo or in a private group, because we're not seeing them as much. Although there have been reports just as recent as today of PvPers that are in conflict zones and or not conflict zones, Hazreses and whatnot, that are attacking ships of people that are working the dark wheel. So be ready, be prepared. The vast majority of it, though, is activity that they're doing in solo mode or whatnot, and we are going to overcome this. It's a situation that, somebody's trolling. It is what it is, and we're going to come over the top, and we're going to put them down. And when we do, and they see that their efforts are not really getting them anywhere, they will get bored and leave. So we are in the process of taking several steps to basically just come hard over it, and we've done that, and we look to continue from this point with more successes. We're dealing with the issue. With regard to where we're at specifically, I would say we're about a week from Anyanwu expanding, and we are pending war right now in HR 4979. So we're looking to sweep 4 days of war, and then we will own that system, and we will continue on our march towards Lave from that system. We're basically taking a three-pronged attack. We are going to, I think we will probably next hyper out of LFT 926 and take a path sort of heading up. Actually, I don't want to share where, but we will, from 4979, move to Lave, and from Anyanwu, move to Seoul. So that's that with regard to the specific details. Anybody that wants to get in on some war fun, that is the place to do it. If you want to have some fun in collecting bounties, Anyanwu's got a compromised nav beacon, so hit it up. Trade into Delbrook and bounties for the Dark Wheel into Delbrook, other bounties at an interstellar factor elsewhere out of system, and So did you guys see the next thing was? Did you guys see that Commander Burr had done a cool little just an update video? The Dark Wheel needs your help update. As of what was it, August 4th, and I linked it in the show notes there. Obviously, big love to Burr and Rainey, the Burr Pits. They're the best. We love them dearly, and just wanted to say thank you for that. So let's start with Arson. Your thoughts on all of this? What's going on? The opposition, the PvP, where we're going with this, and we're gonna leave out the that one ops thing. We're not gonna get into that.
So I feel like it's all going very well. Yes, we're seeing opposition, but I've got to say, whoever is opposing us, they're only just able to keep us from crawling quickly, I guess you could say. Or instead of walking, we're crawling. But we're still making progress in the right direction. So even though we're seeing that opposition, I really don't feel like it's a credible threat yet. Obviously, keep an eye out for people if you are in open. If you aren't okay with the risk, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using private or solo. So keep yourself safe. Only accept the risk that you're willing to. But overall, everything, I feel like it's going pretty well. We're crawling in the right direction.
Yeah, man. And I will say this, yes, we do not judge. It's entirely up to you. Play in solo if you want. Play in private group if you want. Me personally, I'm still having fun in open and not having any problems. And I've heard from a lot of other people, they're having the same experience. So please feel free to join us in open as well. But just play to your risk level, whatever you're good with.
I'm actually running around in open right now.
Tweet?
Yeah, I would say resistance is futile, as the Borg once said. They can slow us down. They're not going to stop us. It's just going to take a little more effort. This happens. This is part of working BGS. You'll find resistance. And as far as the PvP goes, whenever the PvP community sees a system with that many fleet carriers, they're going to come flocking to it. So that is to be expected as well. So like everybody said, don't be afraid of open by any means. I personally play only in open, so if they want to come hunt me down, they know they can come find me.
Same.
I can either escape or I can fight them depending on the ship I'm in. So I just have a good time with it, and we'll keep this going forward without a problem.
And to be clear, we're not trying to call out the people that are fighting against us or whatever and be like, oh, you're evil, you're bad, whatever. It's a video game, man. We're playing a video game. If you want to play against us, I mean, that's a choice, whatever. It's no hard feelings. It's all good. We're all still space nerds flying around playing a game. I'm going to crush you. I'm going to crush you. I'm going to crush your bones into the dirt and have a victory drink over your dead body, but I'm not mad at you. Dubs, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is I need to roll down there into some Hazreses and start looking for opposition. Might be a little fun.
Right on. Absolutely. And I'm seeing people in the chat, man. People are people are excited and happy, and it's all good, man. So this is good stuff. Flaps, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, with 1,800, what did you say, 1,850 people in your Discord now? It's, if anyone's going to oppose 1,850 commanders, fair play to them is what I can say. But yeah, no, it's like for the people that go into my channel, they know I'm not really combat orientated, but I found myself in open tonight with a few other friends at that Compromise Now Beacon doing a bit of combat sort of stuff. So yeah, just keep it going, and if anyone's there to get in your way, just blast them out of the sky.
Yeah, man, it's all a game. We're all having fun. All right, so let's move on to the next item on the docket, which is the AXI community goal. The Art of War is complete.
Nice.
Frontier posted on Twitter saying, congratulations to the AXI on their completed community goal. We know you guys want your sticker. It will be coming soon, TM. I would expect, in the next within the next 10 days or so, we'll get some news that it's like, okay, here's your stickers, they're ready. So get your decal. Everybody that got in on it, congratulations to you, and congratulations to the AXI. And let me tell you something. The AXI were pretty brilliant in when they chose to run this, because it drew up a lot of interest in fighting Thargoids. There were a lot of people that had been a little timid on it, that went in groups. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go with these 4 guys. They know what they're doing. Okay, I've seen it. Okay, I screw up, but we still beat it because they know what they're doing. And then by the second one, it's like, oh, I actually helped a little. And by the 5th or 6th one, you're like, yeah, let's squash some bugs. I'm ready to do this. Fuck off, everybody. I'm taking them solo. So yeah, man, the AXI is getting people trained up and ready to do their part, because stuff is coming. All right, Dubs, your thoughts?
I actually got pretty excited about the whole AXI thing, because for a while I'd pretty much forgotten about the whole war down in the Pleiades. But after turning in my heart, and I just started stockpiling hearts on my fleet carrier to give out to other people in the squadron over at Loose Screws, so that we could get everyone their decal. And I've actually built 4 new AX ships since then, and I've just been turning them things into dust.
What fleet carrier would that be? Remind me, please. What's the name of it?
The fleet carrier's name is Big Ol' Anime Titties.
Oh yeah.
You can tell it's a Friday night, and we got a bunch of idiots in chat. There we go. In comms, rather. So, yeah, Dubs went out there. Dubs was one of the guys that went out there, and several of us sort of rotated out in different groups doing stuff. Dubs, you're getting a lot of feedback, dude. Mute whatever. Several of us were going out in groups and rotating out or whatever, but Dubs was one that he stayed out there for a good chunk of time and was just killing Thargoids right, left, and center, and then like throwing up his he had like stacks and stacks of, okay, I got 30 hearts, I got 40 hearts, and then just people in the group that are like, I've been too scared to go, but I want to get my sticker and then I'll do it later. It's like, okay, here's a heart, go take it in, get your sticker, and you'll be ready to join the fight later. But Dubs is one of the MVPs of that whole thing. All right, Flaps, your thoughts on the AXI CG?
First and foremost, if we're going to talk about silly fleet carrier names, just want to put out there that my fleet carrier is called the Flappening. Where I went with that.
I think we need to get a picture of the Flappening right next to big old anime titties on the nav panel.
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic. We'll get that arranged. But yeah, no, fair play to the AXI guys. Like as you said at the top of that, it trained me to fight Thargoids. Like I hadn't a clue how to fight a Thargoid before the initiative came along. So I went out, just as you said, with a few friends and taught myself how to fight a Thargoid. Got my heart, got it traded in, and now I've got a couple of ships as well, so I now know how to fight a Thargoid. So I actually thought the guys wouldn't do it until maybe mid to end August.
No, they were.
Now.
I'll let you in a little secret. They had plenty to spare too. They were letting people come in, and people were, getting their stuff. They eased up at the end there to like, all right, we're going to slow down a little bit and let people have a chance. But there was so much sort of interest that from the people like Dubs that had stockpiled them, from everybody going, oh my God, it's going to end soon, I got to get it now, that people were getting them from people and going in and trading in their heart. And that's just awesome. And I'm seeing Quiz Engine in the chat. He's exactly the target audience. He's like, I went in there, it cost me 12 ships, I got my first solo kill, it's worth it. And I guarantee you, it cost him 12 ships to get that first solo kill. His next solo kill is only going to cost him 2 ships. And by the third solo kill, he'll be in a situation where, because with Thargoid combat, even the best of the best, even Maligno and Mgram and Avasa and all of the like the top Katie Burns, all of the like the real good players, you still have times every once in a while where you get lag spike at the wrong moment, or you sneeze and go to blow your nose and you look up and it's like, oh shit, I missed the timing on that cutoff field, and it's like, well, I'm dead. So even the best of the best, you're still going to have rebuys every now and again, but you're not going to have 12 ships that it's going to cost you. You're going to get to the point where you can regularly do it and just have a rebuy here and there. All right. Tweaked, your thoughts on this?
I just thought it was another great example of a community created event for everybody to take part in. Such a turnout that it finished early, and how cool of FDev to actually create a decal for everybody that participated, being as it wasn't an FDev project to begin with. I thought that was pretty cool of them.
Yeah, man, that was super, super awesome. And Arson.
Well, let's just put it this way. I hadn't killed a Thargoid in probably since they first started attacking us, and I had a lot of fun thanks to AXI. So I gotta say that resounding success. Not only did I go out and do it, but I wound up going with people on multiple occasions, including Imgram, which was a really enlightening flight. Lots of knowledge there to teach and spread around. AXI know their stuff.
Beautiful. All right, so congratulations to you guys. And that rolls us right into the next section, which is 2 videos that I want to highlight. Commanders Will and Kate from the AXI put out a couple of sort of guides, and 2 of them in particular that I want to highlight. The Complete Guide to Hyperdiction and the Complete Guide to Cold Orbiting. Both of them will be in the show notes. They show you how to deal with the hyperdiction. There are techniques, UFA off, you blast out, you can get away. Maybe you don't want to get away. All right, here's how you want to line up and get ready for a rumble. If you want to scrap, then do it. And on the Complete Guide to Cold Orbiting, just the basic intro for people who are like, what the hell is cold orbiting? There's a thing you can do where if you run your ship under a certain temperature, right, and you stay outside of the sort of central area, you can sort of orbit the ship, and they have a hard time locking onto you, and you can light up that interdictor. It's a method. Now, this does utilize a lot of for the vast majority of people. I mean, you're utilizing FA off. So that's another technique you're going to need to fold into your arsenal. But it is good stuff.
A
Let's
lot of engineering to get cold like that too, to get
Yes.
under 25%.
Absolutely. And what you're going to find for a lot of the people that they're like, what? There, a lot of first timers are going to think this is super counterintuitive because these guys aren't running shields. Yeah, a lot of cold orbit ships. You're talking about hull tanks that are not running any shields at all. And they're fighting in some sort of a little more unorthodox ships than things that you might not be thinking of. But the AXI has very clear guides like this video, along with written guides on their website and on their Discord that you can find to link to that will show you how to do all of this stuff. So let's start with Tweaked on your thoughts on these videos.
Oh, I thought they were great videos. Any video that is educational like that to help people, because this game is so vast and so, does not hold your hand in any regard. And you could be like me, for example. I've been playing 3 years and most of the time running BGS. So I may be great at that and then end up going out killing bugs and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So videos like that are a godsend for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Flaps, your thoughts?
So I'm still to watch these videos, like this cold orbiting thing that I've literally just found out right before we started this show. So I was like, okay, what is this? So I've just had a quick flick through the video there, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is something I need to know. I need to know this yesterday. So really interesting stuff. So they're on my bookmark list for sure. I'm gonna
Beautiful.
watch them as quick as
Beautiful.
possible.
And I have to apologize to Flaps and well, basically to everyone. I normally finish my workday super early on Fridays and have all the notes ready and all done. And it's just been a killer week. I finished literally like whatever, half an hour before we went live. So a lot of things that were in the notes that people were supposed to get, like 8 hours ago to have plenty of time to look up. They got it and we're like, okay, we're going live. So sorry about that. All right, Arson, your thoughts on the AXI videos?
I thought they were fantastic. My favorite thing about them is just the repeated footage of the actual act being being completed is just fantastic. They do a really good job of explaining everything. I can't rave about it enough. I thought it was a excellent investment of time.
Yeah, man. There's sort of a thing where if you hear it explained, that helps some. If you see it done, that helps some. If you see it explained and see it done, like together, when you put those footage together, that does a lot more. Because like you can see it if you play without the sound on and you just see what they're doing, your eyes kind of glaze over and it's like, okay, they did a cool thing. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. But like when you get the two components together, man, it really gets it done. And I wanted to end this segment or this section with feedback from my man Dubs, because I know he is the guy at killing Thargoids.
I wouldn't say I'm the guy. I'm half decent at it, but the silent running video is extremely useful. I kind of had half an idea of how to do the silent running around him, but the part where they illustrated the exact orbit line that you want to use and the fact that you shouldn't be using your forward thrusters to maintain the orbit was a huge piece of information that I'm going to be trying on my next fight. Because what I find myself doing is kind of like a half joust, half orbit kind of nonsense. And although it works, I'm assuming that their cold orbit is probably a much better idea. Not to mention the lower thermal output from not using your full rear thrusters would probably help as well.
And I know that you like to fly your weird little ships, like your little shieldless aft scout and whatnot, and kick some butt. So I'm sure you'll have some fun with it. Right on.
I'm actually in the middle of building a shieldless adder to attempt to solo on a interceptor. So we'll see how that works.
Nice. And going right from the hardcore battle videos and the instructional techniques that Dubs loves so much, we're going to hop in all the way to the other end of the pool. So I'm not even going to ask him his opinion because I know his opinion on this is that's some weeb shit. I don't know. The Machine video. Elite Dangerous, The Machines. Man, this video was incredible. The link is in the show notes. This video we've actually put back 2 weeks in a row because we keep running over time. And this one, I was like, no, we're going to not put it. A lot of the videos get stacked towards the end of the show. And then if we're running late on time, it gets pushed. I put it early in the show on purpose because I was like, no. We're going to get to it this week. So The Machine, or in this case, the Machine, who put out the video Elite Dangerous The Machines. It's a 20-minute long video. It's for those people that are thirsty boys for what's coming in Odyssey. Watch this video and laugh your ass off and enjoy it. And this is just like, yeah, I want to go to there. It's this guy, it's a machinima, it's, you know, sort of his adventures, misadventures. It's got cool sort of ToCoSo songs mixed in there. It's basically like how do I explain this? It's Friends, but this guy, it's Seinfeld. If this guy is, you know, if Seinfeld is living on a space station, it's his wacky, funny, silly adventures and whatnot. Arson, let's start with you. Your thoughts?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I was rolling the entire time. It's clear that nobody involved takes themselves too seriously, and you know, Machine does fantastic in his role, and he also has a fantastic supporting cast of a whole slew of people.
Oh yeah.
So it's not just him doing it on its own. He's got there's what, at least 4 or 5 plus people in there. It's basically a pretty damn good episode of an Elite Dangerous TV show, and
Yeah.
it's well worth it.
Yeah. And the other guy who does, I want to say real quick, the other guy that does phenomenal stuff along that lines, Turjan Starstone. He just put out a channel video, a commercial for his channel. Hit that up as well, because like it is good stuff. We're gonna feature that. I think we'll feature that in next week's. His stuff is incredible. But both of these guys, they do. It's not sort of, you know, sometimes you see videos and it's done and it's just like an actual. You see the character sitting in the seat and kind of looking around and whatever. This is not that. This is the guy's talking. You see his mouth moving. It's full on dedicated machinima. It's the stuff that Turjan does, the stuff that the Machine does, that are like next level stuff. So if you're, like I said, if you're excited for Space Legs and you're seeing all this stuff, man, check that video out and be ready to laugh at some silliness. Flaps, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I must have led a pretty sheltered life over the last little while, because this is the first time I had also seen that video tonight. But my God, I just clicked through it a little bit and I was laughing quite a lot. Like, I'm sure the guys in chat were listening to me laugh every now and again. That was me watching that. Like as you said, you know, it really does give you, like, you see, if Odyssey was to turn out the way that man depicts it in those videos, like those social hubs, like the Salty Seaman Bar, that would be pretty awesome to go to in the game. Like, so, and if we're gonna, like you say about Turge and Starstone making good videos, Commander Scorpius also put a new one out this week, which is absolutely hilarious as well, which is well worth a look at as well. But yeah, that Machine video is something I'm definitely gonna look up.
Hell yeah! So those guys are all in the same squad, man. Turjan, Ascorbius, and the Machine. They all are. They're a little clique, and they're always doing stuff together. And I guarantee you that Scorb and Turjan helped out with this, and I guarantee you that Machine and Turjan helped out with Scorbs, and I guarantee you that both Scorb and Machine helped out on Turjan. They're always sort of collaborating and working together and doing voice stuff together, and they have a little sort of crew of players. So if you are a Elite Dangerous commander and you have sort of missed out on the awesomeness that are those three guys, and the funny, cool machinima videos that they make, check out their stuff. Tweaked.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's a sitcom in space. It's pretty entertaining stuff. My wife was looking at me like I was crazy while I was watching that.
Yeah. Right. All right. So check it out. It's in the links, and we're gonna have more stuff from that crew over the coming weeks, because it's solid gold. And don't listen to what Dub says. He's just a what is it? A wet blanket. There you go. All right. Next up, we go from silly and fanciful to real world science. How Perseverance will kickstart SpaceX's Starship Mars plan. This is another sort of longer video. The links will be in the show notes. It's like a 17 and a half minute long video. It is amazing. So it's put out by I Need More Space, which is, if you haven't checked out that channel, you should check it out. I Need More Space is, this is not Elite Dangerous content. This is sort of real world space content and all kinds of things of that nature. And it is good shit. So in this video, he goes through a detailed list of all of these different things of like, okay, Perseverance, you know, they're using sort of this method for their entry because, you know, they're coming in with a heavier payload than they did last time. So the method that they used last time would not sort of be a good method to use. And all of the materials that they're using on Perseverance, all of the stuff that they're doing with, oh crap, what is it, Intuition? What's the little helicopter drone? It's Inspiration, maybe. I'm blanking just at the moment, but there's a special helicopter drone that they're using on this mission, on the Perseverance mission, where it's like a little drone that will launch off of Perseverance and it flies around, and it's got a neat special system that is, you know, to be used, and it is super cool. It's going to be like helping scout out like the path of, okay, just to make sure that this, you know, because this rover, it's not a situation where if it gets itself into some trouble, they can just, you know, pull over and wait for roadside assistance. So they're being really smart and careful in the planning of it. They talk about, in this video, they talk about how basically Eland and SpaceX are working with NASA, and there's special things in this, you know, heavier payload that they're sending in this specific mission that they're going to be using to sort of as a test bed for this, for that. They talk about the habitats they're going to be using and whatever. Like literally the plan is for SpaceX, they're going to send 2 missions to Mars. The first 2 missions to Mars are going to be just robots, and they're going to build a habitat and build all kinds of stuff. And then they're going to send sort of 2 missions at the same time for mission 3 and 4, that one of them is going to be, you know, a crewed ship, and the other one is going to be like extra spare parts and stuff. And they're going to have all of these robots doing things. They need to find water because the water is good. Also, you know, just number one, you need water to drink, but also you need it to grow stuff, but also you need it as radiation shielding, because on the planet Mars that has a lack of, what do you call it? The magnetosphere, and it has the thinner atmosphere. It's an irradiated planet. So they're going to literally have water sort of in like insulation or as insulation or whatever around all of the habitats to help protect against radiation and whatnot. It is a very cool thing, and they're talking about in this each step of the way, like, okay, this is a test for that, this is a test for that, this, if this works, they can go that, if this doesn't work, they have to do this. They're looking at stuff with that helicopter, and then they're figuring out ways to build heavier ones that can carry more stuff. It is awesome shit. Let's start with Flaps. Your thoughts on the whole thing?
Oh man, like it's stuff I never thought that I would ever see happen in my lifetime, at least anyway. Like the one bit that got me whenever I was sort of reading through it is they're going to be able to refuel on Mars itself. They're going to build propellant production plants, so they're able to refuel and get off the planet itself, which I was just like, that's insane. That's insane that they're going to be able to do that. But yeah, as you say, like there's going to be different waves that are going to go out there, and you know, I think it's the second wave is going to be the crew that goes out, which again, that's going to happen within what, the next 10, 15, whatever it is going to be years. That's hopefully if we live long enough in our lifetime. So yeah, really exciting stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, Ingenuity is the name of the little helicopter. All right, Tweaked, your thoughts on the whole thing?
Oh, I think it's super exciting stuff. I've been waiting a long time to see us do something other than just go to the moon and come back and go up and orbit around and come back and all that kind of stuff. I think this is the first step to actual space travel. I mean, let's be honest. How many thousands of years do we have left on this planet? If the human race wants to survive long term, I think we need to start getting out there and learn how to colonize planets and all that kind of stuff.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's necessary for the survival of the human species. It's necessary for us to sort of take our first steps out there and to sort of become a spacefaring society. But more importantly, this leads directly towards me getting the Expanse as a real thing. Give me some Bobby
That's
Draper.
right. One step closer.
Give me some Avasarala. Give me some Amos. All right. Dubs, your thoughts? Dubs, you're muted.
Did everyone else just hear you cut out? I don't know. I didn't hear you say anything to me.
Dubs, your thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. So I may not have like a super educated opinion on all this, but the one thing I thought when I first saw they were sending the helicopter over there is I didn't know that Mars had enough of a atmosphere or air resistance to even have something like that go airborne. So that's cool as hell to know. But yeah, I'm with everyone else. It's cool as hell, and I think we should get behind it more and put more towards space travel and getting off the one single planet we have. The single point of failure that if it does go down is the end.
Yeah, I think it's not one or the other. It has to be a dual pronged attack. We have to, number one, take care of this rock that we have because it's precious. It's the only one that we have. And also make an escape route. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a situation of, it's a situation of like, you want to have lifeboats on the Titanic, but also, how about we not steer into that huge fuck off iceberg? How about we try to sort of be
talk
smart?
about the Titanic from Belfast. That's a sore point.
Hey man, you guys built a perfectly good boat. It's not your fault if they couldn't drive it.
Well, this is fair. Yes, this is fair.
All right. And last but not least, Arson Cross. Bring it home, brother.
The helicopter Ingenuity. Oh my gosh, that is super exciting to me because helicopters have always been my favorite air vehicle on the planet since I ever first saw them. Fun fact, apparently at essentially ground level where the helicopter will be launching from is the atmosphere is so much thinner than Earth's that at ground level it's the equivalent of trying to fly a helicopter at 100,000 feet on Earth.
Damn.
So yeah, the atmosphere is significantly less dense than Earth's.
But
Which,
they did say in the video that that's partially counteracted by Mars's much lower gravity, so they got that going for them at least. Yeah.
Yes, they absolutely do. The potential of drone footage and scouting and all of that kind of stuff that comes with it, that's going to be a huge boon for exploration of the surface of Mars. Like, so much so because we've always been, up till now, the previous rover, all of its intel was on the rover. It couldn't actually get good ground level images and pick directions to go. Like, yeah, I mean, technically you could use telescopes and satellites to look at the area and plan, but there's a difference between that telescopic view and that drone footage right up there in the ground, so to speak.
Yeah.
The other thing though that really got me on the real life news stuff, apparently I believe NASA is starting to look into Venus stuff, and they're looking into building computer chips because of the the pressure and the temperature on Venus. They're looking at building computer chips out of a type of gallium to sustain higher heats, which that's going to be exciting too.
I'm going to cut you off there because that was for next week's segment.
No, my bad.
That's all right, brother. We're doing that next week, but that's okay. That's why I linked that one because that one is super exciting to me, and it's going to lead to a lot of new we're going to go balls deep into that one because that one's got some crazy shit that's coming. And yeah, and I'm not going to let Space Hero, I'm not going to let DJ Wiley pull me off with, you're not going to tempt me away from my thoughts here. You're talking about interdictors. And by the way, I wouldn't even fly an interdictor, bro. Rifter or Manicore or GTF. Oh, all right. Sorry. Moving on. Here we go. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's that whole thing. That wraps up our real world science shit. That is awesome. And there's more coming. All right. Next up. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a weird one, guys. Settle in. We're going to talk about an exploit. And I brought this exploit to Frontier's attention 2 weeks ago. I brought this to their attention back in July, and I'm gonna highlight it now for the purpose of saying that this is a thing that everyone needs to go and put on the bug report and click on it, and let's support closing this, because I'm not in favor of exploits. I'm not in favor. I didn't like the egg. I didn't like SLF stuff as far as for, yes, it's cool if you can make a ton of money right now. If it's like, oh, I could have, all these millions right now in the next 20 minutes. Okay, that's cool. But for the long-term sustainability of the game and the health of and viability of the game, these kind of things need to be first brought to Frontier's attention. And then if it's fixed, great. If it's not fixed, let's shine a light on it so that we can kind of put that bullhorn out and get it addressed. And this is, I'll stop dancing around it now and just tell you, unlimited fleet carrier storage. The notes will be in the the show notes. The link to it will be in the show notes. Basically, this guy on Reddit shows in here his basically sort of unlimited money glitch, and he shows you exactly how to do it. You go here and boom, you fill up your fleet carrier with 25,000 tons, and then now 26,000 tons, and now 27,000 tons. Cut the video to later, and now a little while later, 50,000 tons. Let's start with ARSON, because I know ARSON, you and I were the two that sort of looked into this sort of a little more at length. Let's get into the details of this as you see it, and let's talk about it, and then we'll just sort of get the opinions of the rest of the cast.
Well, based on what I've seen, I actually experienced the exploit. I didn't know how it happened, and I hadn't replicated it, especially not intentionally. But it's with the transfer user interface, and it's this really funky behavior. It basically, what it boils down to is they forgot to make the transfer all button double check cargo, which is unfortunately really silly. But you could just overload your carrier if you want to put 500,000 tons of stuff in there. If you have the patience, you can load it, which is really kind of unfortunate. I know people are probably using it, but I mean, really, there's not a whole lot. Like, I definitely don't see it as an infinite money glitch, because whatever you load in your carrier, you still have to get it. But being able to load an infinite amount of stuff and then take that wherever you want in the galaxy, that kind of worries me. But that's all I've got on that, really. I'm looking forward to getting fixed.
It's a thing that we've brought it to their attention privately. We've highlighted it publicly. It's not, I don't see it being a terribly hard fix. Now, okay, granted, I'm that asshole that's not a coder saying this isn't that hard, but literally all it is put a thing on there where when you put the transfer all, it will reject if all is more than the available limit of cargo space. Yeah, I mean, that should be a fairly simple sort of one line, transfer X if X equals more than available, reject, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That's where it sits. It's just all they forgot to do was that one little catch there, because they check the cargo of the carrier when you go into the transfer interface, but they don't check it again when you confirm it after using the transfer all button.
So
It's a super simple thing to overlook, but it shouldn't have happened in the first place, really. But it should be easy for them to fix as long as they are made aware of it, which hopefully
we
we
look
accomplish.
forward. Well, I made them personally aware of it 2 weeks ago, and now we're going to highlight it again, and hopefully it will be addressed soon. Because otherwise, on the one hand, if you happen to be a DSSA fleet carrier owner and you're like, man, it's going to take me 32,000 tons to get out where I need to go. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to finish that thought. I'm just going to let that hang out there. All right, let's start with Tweaked. Your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm with you. I believe for the health of the game that these exploits are terrible for the game. That being said, I also believe that looking at the history of the way Frontier has taken care of the exploits, I imagine they probably are taking their time to fix it because they're also trying to mitigate and eliminate the profit that people are making from using this exploit. The previous exploits, they've taken that money away from the people that used it and so on and such forth. I think they're probably going to try to do the same thing this time around. Because if you can fill a fleet carrier up with infinite cargo and then fly it to wherever, Deciat, and sell it, set the sell price at pretty high, then you can make billions on one trip, really, so it's a bad thing, and I imagine they'll fix it before too long.
Close that loophole. And you know what? I don't even care about digging into, this guy made this much, that guy that made this much. Just fix it. And when you fix it, set it to where if there's a guy right now that's got a fleet carrier with 80,000 tons of stuff on it, he gets to keep the first 25,000 and everything else. Bye-bye. Sucks to be you. Flaps, your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, in that Reddit post, I really want to know what that guy's color scheme is because I really like those colors. I really like those colors. But anyway, yeah, I agree with the other guys here that that's an exploit that shouldn't be an exploit. It's a silly issue. I understand it's a silly issue. Totally agree that it's, in my opinion, it's as bad as the egg. I have a pretty strong opinion about the egg. People can play the game whatever way they want to play the game. But if you actively exploit an exploit, then you're breaking the T's and C's of the game. So I think that should be punished, in my opinion. But that's up to the player. That's not up to me. So those guys can play the game whatever they want. If they want to fill their carrier up with 100,000 tons of LTDs, if that's the big commodity at the time, and sell it for whatever, that's fine. But at the same time, I also blame the egg and those sorts of exploits for the issues that we're having in the game at the minute. For example, there's way too many fleet carriers and systems at the minute because they made it too easy to get them because of the exploits.
Well, all right. So I agree with you 100%. This is, to my mind, this is not quite as bad, but very, very close to as bad as the SLF mining glitch in the egg. And it's inexcusable. It should not exist. People should be punished for using it. It should go away, et cetera, et cetera. And also, Flaps, I don't know. I should maybe stream my screen to you at some point. I have that exact same color scheme, but I am not that guy. I do not put more than 25,000 tons in my fleet carrier, but I'll get you the info for that color scheme later, man.
Nice. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. It's very soothing. I dig that. I dig that. All right. So that's it. We're all in agreement. This is a problem. It's not like, it's breaking the game. Oh, it's the worst thing ever, but fix this, please, because it's not fair that one guy who wants to cheat can fly around in a fleet carrier with 80,000 tons of stuff in it. That shouldn't be. So let's close that, please. All right. And everyone, we're recommending now, go to the issue tracker, mention it, vote it up, Let's make this a priority for them to fix, because it's just not cool, man. All right, next up, we've got Frontier News. All right, here we go. This is going to be, so first off, we got three things. We got patches, we got notes, and we got streams. So first up, patches. The Fleet Carrier .4 patch dropped on Monday, August the 2nd. Tritium is a good bit easier to mine than last week, but still significantly reduced from the pre.3 patch levels in overlaps due to the overall mining mechanics change to the overlaps. Now, this is completely understandable as far as I'm concerned, and even sort of partially good. There's an asterisk to that. I'll get back to that. I completely understand that they were like, hey, we're fixing a thing where triple overlaps are borked to the point of making it just stupid broken good. We don't want people making 700 or 600 million credits an hour. We want it to be like sort of down in the 200 million range. I personally would not have fixed it in this way, but they're probably way smarter than me. And when I say probably, I mean for sure way smarter than me. So I guess they had their reason. From my standpoint, you don't kill a fun gameplay loop because people are making too much money. You leave the gameplay loop in there, you leave it be fun, and then you just lower the price of the commodity of what you can get so that it's significantly lower, so that people can still go out there and do the stuff. They just can't make crazy stupid money off of it. But that's just, this is my personal opinion I'm speaking here. This is not whatever. But now we're going to leave my personal opinion and get into what is, I think, a fact. This change in the tritium, I think, is understandable if Frontier had not stated in so many words that tritium mining would not be nerfed at all. They said it word for word. That was not our intent at all. Tritium mining will be as good as it was before the .3 patch. We're going to fix it. And the result that they gave was not that. The result that they gave was tritium mining was as good as it was in the non-overlapping hotspots, but it's not as good in the overlapping hotspots. This has been demonstrated by multiple people, including DSSA people, the mining groups. It's on the forums, it's on Reddit, it's on everywhere. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. Everybody knows tritium mining is down in the overlaps. Now, I get that they wanted to adjust the overlaps. Okay, fine. I get it not because of the tritium, but because of the low temperature diamonds. As a unintended result, as an unintended consequences, but what should have been an intended consequence, it's not that it was an unforeseeable event, it's that it was an unforeseen event. But they should have totally foreseen this. What I think they should have done, and what I still think they should do, is just double the mining rate of tritium only. Make it super easy to mine tritium so that the people that are out there getting their DSSA stuff can just go get it. The people that are out there trying to fill up their tanks so that they can, tool around in their new, fleet carrier can do it. This is not, so tritium is not a thing right now that we have to worry about, like, this is the market that the game is based around. I would love it to be that, but it's not the case. So if tritium is just a thing that people are using to as a fuel source for their own personal ship to go out and have fun, don't make it hard to go out and have fun. Let people get tritium super, super easy from mining it. Okay? That's my personal opinion. Now, the second point on this. So, yeah, like I said, if Frontier had not said in so many words that it was going to be just as good, I would be okay with this. This is another case of an acceptable outcome. This is a perfectly good, fine outcome that's soured by false information. When Frontier gives us expectations by saying this is going to happen, just like the week before the .3 patch, they said There will not be any adjustments. It's a bug fix only. There will be no adjustments. There will be no nerfs. Then .3 hits, and it was Nerfapalooza, and everybody lost their fucking minds because false expectations were given by the proper people, but they gave false expectations, and then everyone went nuts. And I love Frontier. I love the community management team, but I feel like when you have friends, you have to be honest with them when they screw up so that they can make adjustments and not screw up anymore. So I'm going to say it honestly. Now, the second point, Tritium purchases across the board and hyper-focused in Colonia because of the limited market, i.e. one, has dried up considerably. Now, my opinion is that these artificial tritium rates were always meant to be an introductory offer, and that this drying up of the artificial tritium is not necessarily bad. Again, I think the problem was created through poor management of expectations through the official statements that tritium was not intended to be negatively affected in any way by the .3 patch. And no warning was given to the community at all saying, hey, the NPC tritium sales are going to, dry up. This is just the introductory offer to get everybody out there. Go fill up, get it for cheap now, but that's going to go away in like 3 to 6 weeks. And when it goes away, now we're going to get to see the establishment of a real tritium market, i.e., people mine it and sell it to other people, dynamic gameplay, interactions with other pilots. That's what I want to see. That's what I think they intended. But when you don't tell anybody that, and you just say, okay, for 6 weeks solid, tritium prices are, or longer than 6 weeks, because it was from June 9th to, the .3 patch. So all of June, all of August. So, for almost 2 solid months, you had a situation of like, tritium is cheap and plentiful and everybody can just get it anywhere, no problems. That's great to get people started. But you needed to say from the beginning, on June 9th, you needed to say, tritium is cheap and plentiful. That's going to go away in a couple months. So load up now and do your shit, because afterwards, we're going to transition this into what we think is better for the long-term viability of the game. And that is players selling to players mined tritium. If they would have given that notification from jump, people would have planned accordingly. And if they would do sort of what I suggested and just on one item and one item only, go to the global tritium, tritium exists in deposits in the galaxy and just double that number. Make tritium easier to mine. Take away the pain of gathering it the way they want you to gather it by going out and mining it, so that A, you can mine your own easy, and B, players can mine it easy and sell it to other players, and we can see a real market spring up. That would be, I think, super, super awesome. But all of this breaks if you tell us the wrong things beforehand, and then everyone gets super mad. Stop doing that, please. Okay? If you're going to give us filet mignon, that's awesome. If you're going to give us a cheeseburger, okay, that's fine. But don't tell us you're going to give us filet mignon and then give us a cheeseburger. Everyone fucking hates you when you do that. Just be honest. Give people expectations so that they can plan accordingly. All right. And now the third point of where all this is at with the patch. As to mining for cash, now this is not the tritium. That's a whole separate conversation. But as to mining for cash, not fuel, the meta has revolved yet again back to mindlessly mining painite for the best credit per hour in the game. Down to Earth Astronomy put out a mining video earlier in the week. He stated about 19 times after the previous situation, hey, if this is preliminary, this is preliminary. Don't take this for granted yet, but this is preliminary. But other people are testing it as well, and his preliminary findings are coming out. They're accurate. And in that mining guide, he basically says right now, the best credit per hour is very, very clearly laser mining painite. To which I responded in a comment to that video thread, January 1st, 2020, Laser mining painite is king. Frontier does not like this mindless activity and nerfs painite, bringing low temperature diamonds to supremacy in both core and laser form. June 9th, 2020. Frontier wants to further discourage mindless laser mining, so they introduce changes that make subsurface deposit mining worth it for the first time in forever. Now the meta is most definitely low temperature diamonds through a combo of subsurface deposit and core mining. And then the .3 and parentheses now the .4 patch. Frontier is unhappy by rampant credit generation, so they return the meta to, you guessed it, laser mining painite. Lol. It seems that 2020 is the year for turning the wheel in more than one way. So that is my whole sort of rant and screed in the end. And I want to make this super, super clear because I'm hearing from everywhere around. Oh, they emptied the fun hole. Oh, mining's broken. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, this is not acceptable. I don't think this is bad. I think that this outcome of one, low temperature diamonds got nerfed a good bit. Okay, that's good. Mining was broke. It was making way too much money. The two things that I wish would change here is they would, number one, make mining tritium way easier, so that takes away that pain of just playing and having fun with the game. Or even, I don't know, man, like back in the day when we were first talking about fleet carriers, you know, I had a long interview with Down to Earth Astronomy, and we talked about it in one of like Elite Week 6 or something, like way early. And when we talked about it, we were saying like, man, if they could include like a module, like a solar sail, so that you can, like, if you're not in a hurry, if you want to take 2 days, you could fill up your tank by like collecting solar power, or if you had a crew that you could pay extra money every week to, but there were a mining crew that would go out and take little ships out and basically just role play that, okay, your fuel tank will fill itself up after 2 days, whatever. These are all things that could help out for the explorers. I would personally prefer, instead of seeing something like that, I would prefer they do make tritium super easy to mine so that people farm it and sell it to each other. I would love to see, oh, I'm out, 4,000 light years away, and then, I hire this group. You can go find them on Anara, or you can go to this Discord, the Fleet Carriers Discord, whatever, or the Elite Week Discord, and go in there, and in that channel, you can post, okay, I want to buy, I need to buy 18,000 tons of, or 15,000 tons of tritium, and it's cheap and easy enough that players will take that order. They'll spend, say 2 hours filling up a full-on cutter, and then jump that sucker out there and make good money selling it. Like, make it that they could fill up a cutter in an hour and a half or whatever, and then it's going to take them some time to get out there. Yeah, so that's the one thing I would like change. The second thing I would like changed is, can we figure out some way to nerf mining and, yes, make it less money, but make it to where the subsurface and the cores pay out higher than the brainless just point at rock, hold down trigger till you hear asteroid depleted. Like, make the interesting, fun ways of doing it pay slightly more than the brain dead way of doing it, so that people have an interest in doing something fun. And lastly, stop giving bad information. When you say tritium's not going to be nerfed, don't nerf it. When you say no changes are going to happen, don't make changes. Like, just be honest so people can not be mad. All right, that was a long ass rant. I'm going to start with Flaps. Your thoughts on all of this?
Well, from a tritium perspective, I am trying to put together an expedition to go and search the Dynasty sites, doing a big, long expedition out there to search for Earthlight Wars out the Dynasty sites. But I'm afraid to bring my fleet carrier out there because there's no tritium to mine. I can get my fleet carrier there, but I won't be able to get my fleet carrier back. And that's the whole reason why I've put this whole expedition back. So to me, getting tritium sorted should be a priority. An absolute priority. And I absolutely agree that for me, at least anyway, the crew that you employ on your fleet carrier does nothing, absolutely nothing. There's so much more that crew could do. So if you, as you rightly said there, if you could send that crew out to go mine some tritium, okay, it may take 2-3 days to go mine that tritium because you've sent your crew out there, but it would still be better than sitting there stranded for days, weeks, months on end. So yeah, absolutely agree that tritium should be an absolute priority. When it comes to the mining side of things, I also agree to the point of it's too easy to point and shoot a rock, as you say, and make some money off that. So yeah, I think core mining and subsurface mining should pay out a little bit more credits wise. But I still think that the exploration could end up with a little bit of a bump money wise. Maybe not much, but a little bit. And combat for sure to try and balance it out more. I think that's more key to than putting up the prices of what the mining would be.
And your thoughts on with regard to Frontier, just like, hey man, give out clear and proper and accurate sort of statements so that people can adjust their expectations and then not want to set fire to the place.
But the problem is that, Frontier obviously don't want to upset everybody at the same time. So whenever you tell one half of the community that want whatever it is to happen, fixed tritium or whatever, you're going to piss off the other side for whatever reason as well. So it's trying to find that balance, and they obviously don't want to give too much information away because then they're going to piss somebody off somewhere along the line. So I kind of understand where they're going with it at the same time, but yes, I do believe that a wee bit more clarity needs to be given, or at least a wee bit more of a roadmap.
Here's the problem, though. If you say stuff like tritium is not going to be nerfed, it's going to go back to the levels it was before, and then you don't do that, you piss off all sides.
Yes, I agree. But then I don't understand coding. I don't understand. Like you said at the top of all this, you don't understand it as well. So maybe there's more to it than meets the eyes, or maybe they're thinking more towards Odyssey, that if they start moving stuff now, does it screw up what Odyssey's going to give us? I don't know. But I think there's more to it than what meets the eyes, to be fair.
Fair enough. Tweaked, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, on the mining side of it, I think it's always going to be changing, fluctuating up and down. I just looked up the prices right now, currently live, and Void Opals is the top seller at almost 1.7 mil per opal. So that's a pretty good price if you want to go core mining right there. That's what it used to pay out back when I was doing it all the time. Painite is right under it at just under a mil. So yeah, that's going to be faster just doing straight laser mining. But I think those prices make it a fair option for whatever you prefer to do. So somebody like me who doesn't love mining, I might go out there and get a couple million or so just because I can go point and shoot mindlessly at 2 o'clock in the morning some night. Whereas you might want to go out and crack some rocks and get the void opals that way, and we can both win that way. So that doesn't bother me at all.
Fair.
I totally agree with the say what you mean and do what you say kind of thing for FDev instead of giving out mixed messages. That can cause a lot of anger in the community and has caused a lot of anger in the community. But I still think that they are so gung-ho headfirst into Odyssey that they're trying to fix this mining, trying to fix the fleet carrier stuff, but they're doing it with small teams while Odyssey is the big focus over there, I would imagine.
And your thoughts on the idea of, let's just make tritium easier so that, and so two double-sided thing. Number one, make tritium super easy to get by mining. And number two, just get rid of the tritium that, it's not fun or interesting or interactive or dynamic or in any way realistic to just be like, okay, there's fuel. It just keeps coming for free from NPCs. Get rid of all that shit and make it not painful so that players can either get it for themselves easy or sell it to each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or make it so you can go buy it. Like you said, when this all first started, you could go to a station and fill up your fleet carrier, which was allowing people to take their fleet carrier to places they'd never been before. Now everybody's afraid to because one, they don't want to spend hours trying to mine it the way it is right now. And two, they don't feel like they can trust being able to buy it anywhere. So they definitely need to make the tritium a little more accessible to promote fleet carrier usage in multiple multitude of ways, I think.
Right on. All right, let's go with Dubs. Your thoughts on all this?
So I agree with what most people say about the tritium. I mean, it does need to be a little easier to access, and like you said, they stated from the get-go that it wasn't supposed to be negatively impacted. So I mean, that's just beating a dead horse. But I also kind of like the idea of being able to manage NPC crew members as your crew to go mine for you. Maybe not something that's just a passive sit on your ass and just get free tritium kind of way, but you have to manage the ships and the outfitting and the crew members and pay them. And it could even have something along the lines of you pay a crew, they head out, and they're going to gather X amount of tritium in X amount of hours or something like that. So that would be a way to meet halfway in the middle of, hey, it's passive refueling, but you also have to manage the crew and pay them as well for
Well,
their work.
if we're gonna manage their crew, can I get somebody to just run a hose from my cargo hold into my tritium depot?
Oh yeah, no, that's entire. Yeah, that's awesome too. And I think we should be able to plot routes. Like, there's 1,000 tons of tritium on my carrier. It can make 5 jumps. I should be able to plot all 5 jumps at once, and it'll get there when it gets there, even
Now-
if it has a slightly longer cooldown. I mean, whatever.
Now, I know you've done a considerable amount of mining in testing all of this since the patch, both pre and post patch. So, and you've had actually some good results. You've had some positive results. So you might be able to speak to sort of the viewpoint of like, come on, guys, it's not the end of the world. Mining was overly fucking easy, and now they're making it into something different. But this is not going to kill you if you're smart in how you go about it. What are
Yeah,
talk about that
I
a little.
entirely agree with that. Mining was just ridiculously out of hand before. The insane credit per hour rolling in was just stupid, and it deserved a nerf. And on the whole, mindlessly laser mining painite, maybe that could use a little more of a nerf, because I don't think they need to raise the others. As of right now, I went out yesterday before, because I wanted to be prepared with numbers for you. I spent 42 minutes in a void opal hotspot, single, no overlap, nothing next to it. In 42 minutes, I was able to amass 101 tons of void opals and 27 alexandrite. That filled my crate Mark II. That equated out to 183,316,000 credits in the 42 minutes. Now that was with the market prices that were active at that exact time. The close to 1.7 for void opal was like 580 something thousand for alexandrite, because I sold them that night. And the per hour credit was that's what 261 million per hour if you're in a larger ship.
Let's actually call that 42 minutes an hour, because you would have had to sell and deal with all that stuff anyways. But even at that, you're talking about 187 million. I think you said 186 and change. So 187 million over the course of an hour. It's not the ridiculous, redonkulous 500 million plus 600 million, 800 million. So like, just with it being broken, it was 500 million an hour. With it being broken plus the SLF egg exploit, it was like 800 million an hour, or some stupid whatever. So like, this was okay. This was,
this is 100% acceptable, and I don't think they need to touch the core. As far as void opals go, I don't do a whole lot of mining, and I haven't even touched tritium mining since all this started, because I have 8,000 tons of it on my fleet carrier, so I've been running on my reserves. But I should probably go out and test that. But I do think, the tritium, from what I've been hearing, needs fixed. But the rest of it, don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Well, didn't you sort of allude to earlier, maybe just tweak painite down just a little bit so that people have sort of more interest in doing cores and subsurface than just point at rock, watch TV.
And that could be as simple as just lowering the prices on painite, because I don't believe for 1 second that anything as mindless as laser mining should come even close to core mining. And you don't want to nerf it too bad, because the guys that are just starting the mining, who don't have the skill necessary for spotting the core asteroids, they need to be able to make money, but they don't need to be able to make more money than the guy who knows what he's doing, finding core rocks.
And I think that if this experience, if the .3.4 patch ongoing saga, which, spoiler alert, is going to turn into the .5 patch, but if this saga of bullshit teaches Frontier anything, I think it should be this. don't fuck with the spots and the loops and the returns. Just tweak the payouts. If paynite is too high, don't change how you do all of mining because you're going to break other shit that you don't intend to. Just lower what you're offering for paynite, yeah?
100% agree. That is how they should handle it. And
Yeah.
they need to manage the expectations a little better. Don't tell us, oh, we're going to fix Tritium and then not fix it.
All right, Big Daddy Arson Cross, bring us home with it.
Well, I'm going to touch on the mining aspect of it first because that's the thing I have the least to say about it.
Okay.
I just feel like, number one, I've actually gone tritium mining since patch 4. I was able to get tritium in about 45 minutes to an hour. I walked away with 86 tons in a double overlap. So not a lot. If I'm dedicated hunting tritium in a hotspot, I should be getting at least 150 an hour, preferably 250 an hour if I'm dedicated for tritium.
I would like to see, honestly, I would like to see if you're going ham on tritium, fuck it. It's if it's not a thing it's not a money maker, it's you're using it to fill up your tank. Why not? Let's go crazy and say you can get 300 tons in an hour. It doesn't sell for shit. You use it to go. You use it so you can fill up your tank and go have fun. Let people do that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. And that's definitely the sentiment that I fall under. I also fall under the sentiment I really feel like tritium efficiency should be increased to 10 times on carriers. So a max range jump drops from 250 tons consumed to 100 tons consumed. You're still looking at 4.5 million credits per jump at a 50K price per ton or 45K price per ton if you buy it off of there. But I guess that really leads me into the thing that's bothering me the most about tritium is I am seeing right now tons of people in a whole bunch of different communities repeatedly saying, you can't get tritium anymore. And the first thing that they do is they say that you can't buy it. And yes, the 4,000 or 5,000 credit purchase prices for tritium, you're seeing those at 2 units in stock or 60 units in stock or what have you, relatively consistently. And my personal belief is that the reason that changed is they made a change to the BGS states that targeted mining profits from low temperature diamonds. Specifically in patch 3 of Fleet Carrier 0.3, they corrected a bug that allowed low temperature diamond demand to not properly take effect. So once the demand was met, people were still able to just endlessly sell those things to the station for max profit with no reduction in price.
That had been a thing that was broken all along, all along, where for any of the things, if you were in a state other than none, it just didn't, demand is 4,000. I bring a cutter with 700, sell it. Demand is still 4,000. Ugh.
Yeah, so that's the point, is they were targeting the LTD thing. But if you read that patch note, what they essentially did was they fixed the state's effect, like what you're talking about if you're in a state other than none. They fixed that to where if you're in a BGS state, that is no longer going to prevent supply and demand from functioning properly.
Absolutely.
So they weren't clear in the patch notes. So then people are like, oh, you can't buy tritium anymore. Well, number one, right now in the LACSAC system, granted these are medium pad systems, and I'm going to explain why this is important in a second. LACSAC has well over 500,000 tons of tritium for sale right now, as of 19 minutes ago, for 4,121 credits. Tritium is still accessible. You just have to be willing to get onto those medium pads. Now, the large pads, you're still seeing that pop up, but when those hit Inara, people are watching the database and the markets, and the second they see that large pad, they're going out there with their cutter and they're emptying it out.
All
So
of a sudden, everybody's in Chung's system, and he's like, "Hey guys, do you guys want shields? What's going on?"
Exactly. And so my point with this though is you have this happening. So the thing is, when these stations stock up at these ridiculously low prices for tritium, they're stocking based off of BGS state triggers that cause that price to go into place. So you have people that are actively finding these systems, scanning it with the ED Market Connector after the ticks every day. And then when they upload that data, everybody rushes and they go empty it out. And then there's nothing on there. And everybody's like, oh my God, there's nothing there. Well, guess what? That's supply and demand being met. And then they say, this is the other thing that's been irritating me, is I can't get tritium at all. Well, guess what? If you go to Inara right now and you sort exports on tritium, the first page has the first like 30 things all have over 10,000 units of tritium available on their market at the normal price.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still get it in the bubble.
Yeah. Colonia needs a little help on that.
Yeah,
And
which I guess we
that
should
is
move
why-
to next.
That is why everybody should own at least one Python so they can go to those medium pads and stock up.
Hells
Mhm.
yes. But let's be honest though, I don't care if it dries up. I would be okay with it not being available in Colonia, because what I would like to see is, yes, the NPC in Colonia, it dries up. It's not there anymore. Okay, so let's do two things. One, let's get groups of people filling up a fleet carrier to the maximum capacity, jumping it out to Colonia and selling it at a profit. Let's make it to where you can easily mine 300 tons in an hour, so that you have people moving out to Colonia in their mining ships and saying, I'm just going to get rich as hell by, I'm going to be the Valero, I'm going to be the BP, I'm going to be the Citgo, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to mine this up, and boom, 300 tons in an hour, I sell it off, I make, let people charge as much as, whatever, $1 million in profit. And then they say, but here's the thing, you're not the only guy that's having that idea. There's other people. So now you're competing against them for sales. And now, okay, I'll sell you this for, 500 grand. Okay. So you're making a decent amount of money, but you're also continuing to have, instead of just, I went here, I got my, welfare cheese. I went here and got my stuff from the NPCs for cheap. I want it to be players interacting with players, man. I think that would just be super, super cool. The Hutton guys, they're out there in Colonia. They'd be out there. They have a well-oiled machine set up. And then, before you know it, they've got a fleet carrier that's fully stocked. And you can just buy, I, as a player, get the gas. I sell it to this fleet carrier that's the gas station. The people that want to buy it from the fleet carrier. Like, let's set up a dynamic chain of players making a real economy. That would be fucking cool, man.
Amen to that. I do want to correct myself on the number I gave, saying like the first 30 stations had like over 10,000. I was looking at the wrong tab, looking at the correct tab, and then taking that data export into an Excel spreadsheet and doing a quick sum. In the bubble, just on the first page of stations, there's way more than one. There's 42,934,859,000, million tons of tritium. Nearly 43 million tons of tritium just on one page of stations, not including carriers.
So maybe what we need here is a community outreach. What we need is groups, multiple groups. We need, hey, look, right now the guys, see, I'm that asshole that's now volunteering people for work. But it just, you've got the guys that the Operation Ida. You got the Op Ida guys that are like, all right, we're done building stations. What if we were to make convoys of fleet carriers, and we were to get the DSSA to list like, okay, these are the ones, and then we just start doing some Battlestar Galactica type shit where we get convoys heading out to locations to just one at a time. Let's load up these fleet carriers and get them out where they need to go. Like, fuck waiting for Frontier to give us the answer or other people to figure it out. Just like, hey, we're going to do it. How about that?
I definitely think that that's how it should be done. Right now, for example, as far as the the supply and demand actually functioning properly, there's a lot of people upset and in arms about it. But the way that I see it is now that it's working, the people that do want to take that time and stock tritium for that 4K price from the medium outposts or smash those large pad stations the second they come out, they can go grab that tritium for low cost, and now they can sell it from their carrier to other players that don't have the time to do that. We're just not seeing people catch on to that. I think there's still a little bit of rage from the tritium.
Well, but in fairness, that rage is sort of well deserved. If you tell me I'm having filet mignon and then give me a cheeseburger, I've got a right to be pissed. You false advertised.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that when they were writing that patch note for the BGS and when they went and they fixed it, I really feel like it should have been apparent to them, like, just based off of how they fixed it by fixing the effect of the state. Yes, you went after it because of LTDs, but it had a knock-on effect in other areas. And if you don't mention that, yeah, I'm a software developer. I can read that patch note and go, okay, that's what that means. Your average player can't do that. So that, I agree, is something that is extremely important with patches moving forward, is to get those patch notes, thoroughly detailed.
Say what you mean, do what you say. All right, let's move on. We're going to skip past the next item was post, which was the .4 patch notes. The link is in the show notes. It basically says all the stuff we've just talked about for like the last 10, 15 minutes. So boom, find it there. The next thing is the streams. Now, Frontier did 2 streams this week. They're back now. As they stated last week, they are back to their schedule, which is, they said, starting in August, which we're now in August. We're back to 2 streams a week. We've got the Monday. No, is it Monday or Tuesday? Monday. Frontier live stream Monday, which is Monday at like noon-ish, something like that, like lunchtime, Englandy time, which is like early ass in the morning for us in the US. And their Monday stream, they did a stream with Mal for the Win. Awesome streamer, Mal for the Win, on his stream. And actually, I think just because it's their Monday one that they're going to be doing at regular hours, that because it was Mal's, that one was actually in the afternoon. This last one, but now they're going back to the other schedule. But anyways, Mal for the Win. They did the Buckyball Racer Perico challenge race. It was super awesome. Full throttle at Perico. Full throttle is the Frontier sort of stream type that they do, where it's all racing oriented stuff. Art is big into. He's stated multiple times publicly that he wants it to be a situation of like, we're going to do more races, we're going to do more CQC, we're going to do more challenge events, we're going to have fun, and people are going to see us pitted against each other, and we're going to be silly and have fun with it while we answer questions. And that is all awesome. When you answer questions, please mean what you say, do what you say what you mean, do what you say. But the stream part, that's awesome stuff, man. So you can find it on Twitch TV videos. There's a link in the forum, or you can just go to twitch.tv/Mal for the Win, all one word, no spaces, no underscores, and you can see it in his video section. But the notes, it's going to be right there in the show notes for you. Go check it out. It's fun stuff. It's highlighting the buckyballs. It's the guys having fun. It's Mal. It's just win. It's all good shit. Next up, they did their stream on Thursday, their stargazing tours. So the way that this is going to work from now on is Monday at noon, they're going to do a stream, like noon-ish, so early in the morning America time. And that is going to be their sort of general fireside chat stream where they talk about stuff. The next stream that they do every week is going to be Thursdays. Those are going to be their featured streams, their live stream Thursdays. Those are going to be at like 6 o'clock or whatever at night, England time. And those streams are going to be like the featured one. So in this one, they did the stargazing tour. Stargazing tour is where they go to a place, they see a bunch of stuff, they take pictures, they talk, and do fireside chat while they're doing all that. This week it was the Dragon Head Nebula. Orange Phoenix gave them a list of cool places to see, and they saw it. And in that stream, they talked about some stuff. And the one real sort of substantive news issue that they talked about in that stream was about the .4 patch. They said, and this is a direct quote, they are aware of concerns of Tritium users in Colonia and are in discussions with the devs on the subject. That doesn't address any of the other things that we talked about, but that one particular thing, they specifically hit it up and said, yeah, we know Tritium in Colonia seems to be a concern, and we're talking to the devs about it. There is a link in the show notes to that stream. All right, let's start with Dubs. Did you see either of the two streams? And whether you saw them or not, your thoughts on, as I've explained them, the Perico Challenge race and the live thing and their subject on Colonia?
So I haven't seen either of their streams actually.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the race goes, I mean, if there's a race going on, I'll join for it. The whole Tritium situation in Colonia, I don't know what's going on with the Tritium, in Colonia. All I'm really aware of is what's here in the bubble. So I don't really have much input on that because I don't have much knowledge on it.
Okay.
I mean, that's pretty much all I got because I don't really have enough knowledge on the other stuff to really comment much on it.
Fair. And just to clarify, it's 1900 hours UK under British summertime. It's 1600 or 1800. So 6 o'clock UTC, which is 7 o'clock British summertime. But yes, okay. And let's go with Tweak. Your thoughts on the two streams and the comment that they made about the Colonia thing?
Well, I also didn't get to watch either of the streams this week, unfortunately. The racing things, it's always amazes me what people can do in those races. So those are always fun. The Colonia thing, it needs to be adjusted, obviously. It needs to be fixed, but I do think they need to focus on all that other stuff we spoke about as well.
Right. See, this is what you guys don't have to watch the streams. I watch the streams and pull out the news so that you don't have to. I'm looking at you, Wotherspoon, in the chat. All right. Let's see. Arson, your thoughts on the streams?
Well, I've watched both of them. I was surprised I managed to get the time. I was really happy with Frontier for acknowledging the market issue with Tritium in Colonia. While it is nice to have the player economy aspect, having that entire region of space not have any purchasable Tritium of any quantity is rather unfortunate. So it was nice to hear that they're aware of it and they're working on it. And then as far as the stream that they did with Mal, that was really entertaining. The shenanigans racing, it was worth a watch. I really like Mal's setup too. He's got all the stuff. You can see what his inputs are doing for ship flight and just fanciness across the board. It's pretty good stuff.
And it was really cool where after they did the run and the Frontier guys were like, all right, we're out later. He's like, cool. I'm going to go do a run or two on this in FAO. So he did a flight assist off, and that was cool shit. I love Mal.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Rear Admiral Flaps, your thoughts?
I didn't get to catch the Mal stream, unfortunately, because IRL gets in the way. But yeah, I agree. Mal's streams are always super slick. And he's just a fantastic streamer. And from the racing perspective, I really want to get involved in some of that racing, especially SRV racing. I think SRV racing could be pretty cool. But I don't know if I might be talking utter bullshit here, or this may be beer coming out, but did I pick up in the Frontier stream that they were talking about mining, or they were talking about overlaps possibly, and they mentioned that it was working as intended?
They did.
No, they didn't say that.
Well, they did sort of. It's kind of okay. How do I say this?
Let me take this one, Kai, because this is one of the points that I was actually paying a lot of attention to on their live stream. They didn't say that it was working as intended so much as kind of like they're not promising any changes right now, but they are aware of what we're saying as a community, and that they are in the process of collecting data. So what that means is if you want to see changes to mining, don't just be like, no, I'm not going to mine because it's not efficient enough. Go out and actually mine, because if Frontier's going to make changes, they're going to make changes based off of what happens with actual player activity during
Sure.
the time after the patch.
So they didn't say that it's working as intended, but they didn't say that it's not working as intended. There was some sort of mumble mouth back and forth, and like, yeah, we're looking into it. We want to hear your concerns. We want to, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. It's, it was kind of somewhere in between.
All right, fair enough. I must have picked that up completely wrong. But in regards to the streams themselves, though, it's really good to see them starting to pick up the pace with the streams. It's obviously a build up to what's coming with Odyssey, the dev diaries, everything else. They're obviously getting more streams in there because they want to try and hype everybody up. And it was good to see Dr. K. Ross in the stream as well when they were talking about
hell yeah.
the Dragonhead Nebula. It's always good to see Dr. K. Ross. She's dropped into my stream a couple of times, so yeah, no, I really like that they're really picking up the pace with the schedule now.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I think we covered all of that as much as we could cover that. Let's hop into the next section. Arson, are you ready to do the deep dive that we've been teasing people with from last week?
I am.
Beautiful. Let's get to it. Tell us all about EDMC.
All right, so this is going to be some great stuff. I am looking forward to it. So right now, for those of you watching the stream, you're going to see a rotating set of images for a bunch of third-party tools that you may already be familiar with, such as Elite BGS, ED Market, sorry, not ED Market Connector, but that's on the right side, EDDB, Inara, and ED Star Map. Now, the reason that I'm showing you these tools is because the tool on the right-hand side of the screen, or ED Market Connector, this is a relatively simple application. What you're seeing in my preview on screen now is the application fully loaded. I have every plugin that currently works with the latest EDMC version and the games version. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. It's fantastic. The thing that you need to know about EDMC is how it works, and the function is based off of two things. Number one, Frontier has an API in which you can use your actual Elite account with Frontier to log into and pull data from the game based off of your commander. So it has a whole bunch of things like your ships, your ranks, your stats. If you're docked at a station, that export is going to include all the commodity information for that station, which is really useful. That's how the trade tools get updated every time people dock with ED Market Connector running, and things like that. The other aspect is that you also have a commander's log that the game outputs during gameplay. Now, the commander's logs are accessible through the API as well, so console players will get that information for some of these third-party tools, but they can't get the live real-time interaction that PC users do when they use ED Market Connector. It is still useful for console players, though, and I'll get into why that is in just a minute. So one of the my favorite things about ED Market Connector, and you're going to see video footage right now, the plugin that I want to plug the most that helps in day-to-day just enjoying the game. You'll see this pop up in the bottom left of the screen for the materials that are in this system. This is something that ED Recon, a plugin by Lakino, it takes all of that information in that commander's log that's output to the game, and it says, okay, the current states for the system are this, they're these factions, and it runs computation on that information, and it says, hey, this is the type of materials that you're going to find in this star system. And by the way, that material, you have 100 out of 150 max units for that particular material. So you can see all the rarity and things like that and be like, okay, hey, there's a 86% chance when I go into a high grade that I'm going to get core dynamics composites in this system. I'm going to go ahead and grab a few. And this is like automated pop-ups that show up. And when you're scanning signal sources as well, you can see the little pop-ups in the bottom left there. It tells you the potential outcomes of those signal sources so that you can really kind of hone down your hunts for materials and things like that. If you're worried about your engineering progression, this is definitely a plugin for you. One of the other things that is super useful is EDRecon has built-in crimes reporting and things like that. So if you're an open player, anytime you see another player and you scan them, if they're wanted, it reports that wanted player to a database. And then NARA on the website, they have like the highest threats thing. EDRecon feeds that information as well. And it helps the bounty hunters, which this tool, if you register with Lakino, you can actually get an enforcer account, which lets you run lookups on unlawful people, so you can find them and counter gank if that's your thing. But this is just one plugin, and I haven't even touched majority of the features. It has everything from looking up markets, interstellar factors, tech brokers. If you want to find a specific material, like it's got all that stuff, and that's just one plugin. A bunch of the other plugins that I have over on the right here include one that is a spanch routing thing. So if you grab your spanch root, you can take it and insert it into the plugin, and then it will automatically put the system in your clipboard. One of the ones that I've been liking is this little triangulation one that shows me how far I am from 3 systems of my choosing. So I've got Shinrarta, Sol, and then my faction system, so I can kind of have like triangulation awareness of where I'm at in the galaxy. You got credit per hour things. You have a mineral magpie that lets you collect all your mining stats and send them to an actual server of your choosing for researching mineral yields, which is something that if you're wanting to do, go look that stuff up. There's a bunch of stuff. There'll also be links in the show notes. There are so many things though that it's it's quite nuts.
It's really good.
So I do want to show one last image real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me here.
While you're looking that up, Flaps, what's your experience? Do you use EDMC? Do you use any of these plugins? Are you excited by them? Are you like, oh, what's this? What's that?
I have literally just installed ED Market Connector as in from 2 days ago. So that's the first one I actually have experience with. It was the only reason why I installed it was because I was fed up of going to a website and copying and pasting neutron stars.
Right.
So yeah, no, I've recently started using EDM or EDMC, and it's a really, really handy tool, like really handy tool. So I'm quite interested to what Arson's talking about there, and I've actually taken a few notes down what he's talking about. So maybe something I definitely add to, but definitely is very interesting. Yeah.
Well, this will all be in the show notes for all the people listening that they can get into some of this stuff. All right, I see you got the picture up. Let's go, Arson.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get real in-depth. This is going to be stuff that's more interesting to programmers. But on the left-hand side, you have just the first few rows. It's actually like 50 times longer than what you see on screen there. But you've got the API export data. This is an example of what it looks like. And on the right-hand side, you have the commander's log journal file. This one is the one that inputs, or outputs rather, everything that you do in the game. If you deploy your cargo scoop, this tool, this function of the game says, hey, the player deployed their cargo scoop. If you drop in or out of super cruise, if you interdict somebody, when you scan somebody, all of these different events pop up in here. So what this does is this allows tools to go through and be like, oh, you're using EDI or Elite Dangerous data interface, I think it is. I may be wrong, but that is an application that uses the commander's log similar to EDMC, except instead of sharing the data, its purpose is to take that data and enhance it with like role play, ship's AI kind of notifications about states and stuff. So if you want to improve your play experience, I definitely say check out ED Market Connector. If you use it, when you travel, you're going to be sharing BGS state information, and that will help us with turning the wheel so that we can see real-time information about all the systems. And that's all I've got for that for now.
Beautiful, man. All right, so let's get to everybody else's thought. I mean, obviously, I'm just in awe of all of the things you can do with this stuff, and I've already talked to you about we're going to make some changes to my system and get some stuff running in here, and it's going to be good stuff. Dubs, your thoughts on all of this?
No, I absolutely love using ED Market Connector. I may not have as many plugins as you do, but if you wouldn't mind sending me a personal link to all those, I would check it out. I mostly run the Canon, the EDR, and the Spanch router on mine. But I wouldn't want to play without it just because of how easy it makes to use Inara, even for things like crafting up a list of things I would like to engineer, and then it updates all my materials, and Inara tells me directly, hey, this is what you're short on, this is what you need to go get, and it's just incredibly useful.
Yeah, I have to say that is one of my favorite features because now my profile on Inara is absolutely completely public. So if anybody wants to see what a full data set is for somebody who has thousands of hours, you can search Arson Cross on Inara. But going in and being like, hey, I want to engineer a long range thermal vent beam. Let's go on there and check the recipe, and it actually tells you when you're looking at the recipe, you have this many rolls in your inventory worth of materials. Like that kind of quality of life improvement is just phenomenal.
You can get that information on Inara without EDMC as long as you connect your Inara to your Frontier account. I get all that stuff today as is.
API. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
EDMC though gives you lots of tools to like do different databases and different sort of Okay.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to touch on something. As far as EDR goes, you mentioned that it automatically reports like if someone interdicts you, kills you, attacks you. I may or may not be remembering this right, but I think you actually have to request a account, and Lacano has to give you your login information for that to be active. I don't think the anonymous account reports anything. It only pulls data.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. You have to get the enforcer account.
Okay, I didn't know I thought the enforcer was something more advanced. I don't know what levels there are.
So I'm not 100% sure. I'm not gonna lie. I use EDM or ED Recon. I've been using it for a couple of years now, actually, and I've had the account since jump. But I don't think that it conceals the target stuff. The big thing, the only thing that I'm personally aware of that the enforcer account gives you is the ability to actually look somebody up. I could see maybe that being a case of it. There is options though for ED Recon to limit what you share with regards to that, and you can also there's a hotkey. If you toggle your headlights on your ship twice, it'll actually disable and enable the reporting of combat. So you can just double tap that bind and it lets you know that it's changed the setting and you're going to stop feeding information to the network.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and there's one other little program that I like to use while exploring. I didn't hear you mention. I don't know if you know about it. It's called Elite Observatory, and it's a cool little. It doesn't run with EDMC. It's a standalone thing that will report interesting or unusual things that you find during your scans that you may not, otherwise be aware of. Like it'll tell you if there's an unusual secondary star, if a ring on a planet's unusually large, or if there's something worth looking at in that system.
It'll say like, oh, you jumped into this system and it had a POI called Raxlow over that way, but you just left.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if it's going to find Raxla, but things of that nature, and it'll tell you if a system has all of the Jumbonia materials and whatnot. It's pretty cool to use.
Yeah, man. All right, Tweaked. Do you have any other thoughts on the EDMC stuff before we move on to the next?
No, as a console player, I've never really used much EDMC really, but any third-party tools that gives you that kind of information, to me, it makes it invaluable. I know I have a hard enough time getting all of our guys to sign up with an RN, connect their accounts to do it that way. So getting everybody to get all this stuff downloaded and plugged in and all that kind of stuff could be a chore, but it is, like you say, I can already see just watching this stuff how valuable or invaluable it can be. And having an ARA connected alone makes your engineering and everything a million times easier than what it is without it. So this would be even better.
Beautiful. All right, we're going to skip the next video series, and we're going to hop right into the discussion topics. So discussion topic number 1 is custom paint jobs. I would like for FDev to put out a free tool that has a basic version of each ship body, and then the basic paint program, which would allow artists to create and submit custom paint jobs. Those submissions could then be quickly eyeballed by an FDev employee to ensure nothing is vulgar, and they can run them through a search program to look for matches on any against copyrighted material or whatnot. Then all the acceptable submissions could be put on a site where the players can vote on them each month, and so the winners get some jackpot of ARCs. They just get free. Here's free funny money. It doesn't exist anyways. It doesn't cost Frontier anything. It's just here's the thing. And then we could all FDev would then be free to sell those paint jobs or mods back to the community, thereby generating a decent amount of income at minimal development costs. Now, we talked a week or two ago about the idea of internal livery. I'm talking about custom-made external livery. Imagine being a part of the Burr Pit and having, the Burr Pit logo on your ship, or the Boone on your ship. Imagine being, a part of the Dark Wheel program and having a Dark Wheel logo on your ship, or being for Dubs, he's a member of Loose Screws. He could have the Loose Screw logo on his ship, or Tweaked is, OPIX, he could have that, or Rear Admiral Flaps can have his logo right there, and people that follow his streams and want to join in on his group and his stuff could pay some ARCs and get his logo. It's basically a very simple paint program where, you throw the logo on there, you put the colors, you set it how you like, people upvote them, whatever, and Frontier, takes your money and lets you have the paint job that you want. Let's start with Tweaked on this one. What do you think?
Hell yeah. FDev, let's get on that. That's a great idea.
Right on. Arson?
So I actually have something I want to show people to kind of help y'all visualize this. Commander Cohen Leth, he's been around for a while, has made this lovely little pack of art called Cartoon Ship Vectors. The cool thing about it, and why I brought it up with this, is in the Cartoon Ship Vector pack, he has all of the original files for the vectors and the Photoshop. So you can go in, and there's a process in place where you can actually change individual colors of each part and turn these cartoon vectors into your own personal thing. And I thought that it was interesting with this topic because looking at the files and the instructions for that and how you do it would basically be a start to implementing the system, because it shows how simple that it can be. Now, obviously, and with the ship vectors that Cohen's done, you need to have a photo editing program, but Frontier can do something to accomplish the same thing in game without using that additional software. I think would be awesome. I am totally for the feature. You could just imagine painting all of these ships.
Right on. I dig that. All right. Flaps, what do you think?
I am so for this. I have lost days, weeks, hours of my life designing cars in Forza and other games like that with PAINTJOBS, liveries, whatever it may be, decals. That this would be my thing. I think I could make an absolute stream out of just designing ships, so I am absolutely for this. Yes, there would have to be a way of monitoring it, because obviously you're going to have people drawing massive penises on ships and stuff. But and I probably would be one of those guys at some point. But yeah. Let's face it. But yeah, no, like as you said, I would love, like, I'm a member of Asling's Angels with a big squadron in the game, and I think it would be absolutely awesome to be able to go to my fleet carrier and just whack that logo all over my fleet carrier. So yeah, I'm absolutely for it.
Right on. And Dubs.
Well, you already know what I would put on my fleet carrier's livery if I had that ability.
I'm gonna guess big old
but-
anime titties.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
they
All
would
right.
probably stop mine. But yeah, that would be absolutely awesome. I feel like I would definitely want some of like the old World War II style, like how they painted the planes, paint jobs
the-
like that on
Those
the
are-
Betty
like
Boop on the old World War
Yeah.
II fighters.
yeah, with the
Joan
little pinup
Crawford.
girls on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's I would want some shit like that on my ships, 100%.
And on that subject, on the note of big old anime titties, let's say a hello to Dubs' sister that's in the stream. Hello.
Welcome.
You knew your brother was a degenerate anyways, though, so whatever. All right. So that's a big round of yeses on that idea. And let's see. The next discussion topic is community-made cockpit radio. I'm going to give this super short because we got to get this moving along. The idea is this. We cannot count on Frontier to do this because they should not do this. And if they did it, let's be honest, they wouldn't do it well. This is not a thing that the Frontier should sort of make because they can't have the liability of this, and they can't be the one to gatekeep what is acceptable and what isn't. But I've said a long time ago, what I wanted in this game was the ability when they, okay, Galnet's not around. All right, cool. We'll make it work. How about you take EDMC that Arson was just highlighting, you take some Python script, somebody that knows how to program. I know the word Python script, and that makes me sound like intelligent, but believe me, I'm not. Somebody who knows how to actually do the thing with that. Go create a listing, a category, a listing, whatever, and then have a place like on Anara or on EDMC or somewhere that's hosted and curated by somebody that knows. It's like, okay, this is not going to be, some Nazi propaganda. This is not going to be some weird, Allahu Akbar kind of thing that's like whatever. This is going to just be elite, dangerous, legitimate content creators that's like, all right, Elite Week podcast, Lave Radio podcast, Flight Assist podcast, Loose Screws podcast, Guard Frequency podcast, Hutton Orbital Radio Truckers podcast, and then, audio version of Down to Earth Astronomy stream or a Plater stream or Galnet News Digest, the best, or Sag Eye, Sagittarius Eye. Yeah. I got it in before you, so but like you go, you just take, you use the EDMC, the EDMC market connector, which has that little menu thing on the side that you can pull up. You hit play like a jukebox or whatever, and then you subscribe. Like, oh, I subscribe to Sag-Eye. I subscribe to Elite Week. I subscribe to, Hutton Orbital Radio Truckers. And then, oh, hey, there's a new lave out. You click on it, and it just starts playing. You use Python script it pulls it. It says, you're subscribed. Here's the most recent episode. Or, hey, man, I haven't played for like a month. Oh, hey, there's 3 episodes waiting for me. You play them right through your cockpit, and it's just nice and easy. You don't have to go looking anywhere. And while you're flying around mining Painite or while you're running missions for the Dark Wheel, you can hear awesome. And even you could have like music channels. And it's like, hey, here's Miguel Johnson and the music that he did for this. Here's Commander ToCoSo. And the reason why I say it should be done by the community is, Frontier can't be responsible for the things that we say. If we say something, that might be critical, or if we, this is an adult podcast, we're on at night and we don't edit ourselves. We curse. So what? Like, we're not raunchy, I don't think. We're not, out of line, but it's not the kind of thing that they can sort of officially endorse if, you have cursing or whatever. So I'm reaching out, EDMC, somebody, some guy that knows how to work or gal that knows how to work Python. Like, let's make this as a community. And once we put it out there, it'll be called like, the Commanders Com or Commanders, jukebox or something, and then just set it up, and it gets people the opportunity to be like, oh, I never even heard of Flight Assist podcast. Well, they're awesome. You should have heard of them. So go check it out. All right, let's start with Dubs. What do you think, man?
I mean, I 100% agree. I have no idea how you would even begin to implement it, like you said. But if if I could have the end game, a way to push it in, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Be able to listen to them while I'm playing without having a extra Chrome tab open, because be honest, I'm probably not going to bother with opening a whole separate program to listen to them.
And
But if
not
it could
only
be integrated with stuff I'm already running, that would make it happen.
and not only do you have to open up the other tab, but you have to actually know that it's there. Whereas you might not know. Hey, there's a new Loose Cruise out. Hey, there's a new Hutton Orbital out, or whatever. Oh man, Lave Radio, it's out. It's online now. This will just bring it to you. It'll like pop up and be like, bing, like you get your little notifications tab. Oh, there's a new one. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. Flaps, what do you think?
Once again, totally agree. I think it's a fantastic idea. You would have to be careful from a licensing point of view for music wise, what music you're going to play to, because you don't want to be breaking any, let's say, DMCA laws or anything like that. But one thing that sprung to my mind as you were talking there is I've just finished listening to the audiobook of Reclamation. How good would it be to have the books, somebody just reading the books to you as you're going out mining or exploring or whatever? That's what I would like to hear.
You'd have to be really careful on that, because you're talking about that's officially licensed stuff, and you need to make sure the artists get paid. But I agree with you 100% in that it's like, hey, it should be, like, hey, it's curated by someone, it's curated by Inara, whatever, and it's like they double checked, they made sure there's no copyright music, there's no whatever. It's just music that's made sort of for elite. It's podcasts made about elite, and or real science. I mean, I think whack on some NASA podcasts and stuff on there for people that are like want to hear about Perseverance mission or whatever while they fly around. But yeah, that could be a very cool additional thing where it's like, and officially licensed if you purchased it on Audible or wherever it is that you purchase it from the official people. And you can, I've paid for it. Now there could be a thing where as a player, you could personally upload content that you've purchased. And then it's not in any way, there's no DMCA issues because you're uploading your own stuff to just queue it up in the jukebox. And it's not anything that's being provided by anyone else. So
Absolutely.
if you're a dirty cheating stealer of stuff, well, that's your business, but it has nothing to do with the site. That's just for you.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with podcast. Podcast is just the perfect thing for it. But for me, podcasts, and because I just finished reading the book, I would love to be able to hear the books through the radio.
Beautiful. Tweaked, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be a spectacular idea. It is a spectacular idea, and it would be a great way for FDev to take advantage of their already great community that they have. They've got probably, in my opinion, the best content creator community I've ever seen for a video game. And it would be a great way to kind of acknowledge that and introduce it to a lot of people, because I know every time we get a new member of OPIX, I share a SAG-I or an Elite Week or a Lave Radio or something like that. And most of the time, they don't even know that these things exist. So it would be a spectacular way if I could go to my right panel, go into my ship's computer and hit play on the latest Lave Radio while I'm running around doing whatever. That would be such an improvement to the game for me. Quality of life improvement, I think.
Right on. So I hit Flaps, I hit Arson.
Yeah, all quiet over here. I'm very for the idea. I listen to a lot of elite content, and I would love to be able to use a Market Connector plugin to manage a playlist file that I could control through this lovely little right-hand panel where the playlist is. Just let us, have a directory of files, and we can load it ourselves. That would, yes, please.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. We're going to do, Arson and I are going to run through real quick. I'm going to do all of the community feedback stuff, except for the ones that are mentioning me, because that just seems weird and douchey. So then I'm going to pass off to you, Arson. So I'm going to start off with Commander DJ Wiley, who wrote in to say, I really hope we get planetary bookmarks. So this was on the question of bookmarks. That was, the whole idea of bookmarks from last week. DJ Wiley says, I really hope we get planetary bookmarks with Odyssey. It's a huge miss for the game at the moment. Once we have legs, if we still have to find interesting points on the planet using coordinates, it's going to be a real pain. In addition to the ideas you guys came up with, I would throw in the ability to share bookmarks, and not just with your squad. Say you wing up with some people, but you are all from different squads and you have to go visit somewhere, or make a race between 2 points. Even sharing with your wing would be useful here. And to take it one step forward, how about the ability to sell your bookmarks, Eve style? Say you find a cool new crystal shard site, maybe even one with selenium. That's a whole other thing, but there's a reason why that doesn't happen. Why not have the ability to charge other commanders for the right to be the first to go to harvest those sweet, sweet materials? Now, DJ, that was actually one of the things that I included. I said the ability to hyperlink it so you could even put it in chat or whatever. But what you're saying is to sell it. That's a new twist, and I dig it. I also like the idea of being able to list it in wings and other places. But I mean, if you can hyperlink it, you can put it anywhere. But yeah, selling it would be cool. Odyssey wrote in to say some sorting options to the bookmarks would be cool, like being able to change the color and rename them to better organized and see at a glance what your bookmark means. Also, being able to forward a star system or flight plans to other wingmates would be neat. Phil Barnes said, definitely the last bit. Being able to giving a nav point to wing members or in any chat, really. I'm really annoyed having to memorize or write down weird system names for my galaxy map to be able to tell my wing members which system we're going to, and them having to remember that or write it down or type it in exactly on the map. There definitely needs to be some sort of copy-paste function. I would also like to be able to write descriptions of my bookmarks in game. Having to have an Excel spreadsheet just to remember what those bookmark points do is not acceptable. And in general, just being able to browse bookmarks better to get an overview of them and their descriptions. Maybe a bookmark location can light up the galaxy map when you hover over the bookmark in the menu. All right. Metaxilus wrote in, bookmark folders, like how the controls menu has the collapsible plus and minus signs, and the ability to set bookmarks on planets via longitude and latitude. I would really love the ability to change their color or icon and to have it reflected in the game galaxy map. So when you're looking at the galaxy, it's not just a bunch of ambiguous orange flags. We already have the ability to change the bookmark's name, but it would be nice to be able to do this with the creation of the bookmark rather than after. Setting a planetary bookmark with coordinates would make blindly feeling around the planet's hemispheres much more attractive. All right. Osasius said, first things first, we really need to be able to link share bookmarks in chat. That way, if you're giving guidance to new players and even just sharing a cool bookmark, you can do so with more than just your squadron. Secondly, I would love if we could bookmark a full route rather than just a single point. That would create a bookmark with the entirety of the route as waypoints along the way. That way, if you shared it to another commander or even pulled up the route bookmark while in a different ship with a different max jump distance, it would still create routes throughout all of the waypoints. Imagine bookmarking the entirety of the Crystal Shard farm route or bookmarking different engineering routes rather than having to figure out engineering routes every time you're trying to engineer a new ship from scratch. More so, imagine bookmarking the entirety of the expedition's waypoints and then being able to share that with other commanders with a single click.
That would make organizing and visualizing expeditions much easier inside the game rather than relying heavily on third-party tools. All right. Next up, you're going to be reading the one after this one, Arson. Be ready because it's the iTunes review. Next up, Master Verhal. Definitely having the ability to customize your bookmarks colors yourself would be nice. Planning full routes instead of the one destination would also be nice. Bookmark folders would be a cool thing to add, and that way I can have a section for engineers, section for locations that I like to go, etc. I also like the map toggle for all systems that have been discovered, /scanned, /mapped, not just the ones that I've been to, but the ones everyone has been to. That way explorers can not waste time and can explore the unexplored. That's pretty powerful. That we would need to unpack that as a whole discussion point at some point. That could be super awesome. That could be crazy overpowered. But I dig all of these. Like, there's a lot of reoccurring themes here we're seeing. All right, Arson, read the next one. That's the iTunes review.
All right, so the iTunes review came from Cecilia, I believe that's how it's pronounced, and it's titled Best Hype Man Ever. It's a 5-star review and reads, I love listening to this podcast. The optimism and positivity are so refreshing. Even when issues with patches or content changes within the game arise, there is always a positive perspective coming from the podcast. Kai does a great job counter-arguing tastefully and isn't afraid to let guests express their own viewpoints. Conversations and interviews are always interesting and engaging. Elite Week isn't just a great source of Elite Dangerous news, but Kai graciously promotes the work of other creators and player content within the game.
That's super sweet. All right. Let's see. Yes. I'll read the next one, then you read the one after that. Big C 75 in the comment section of last week's show put, another great show. You guys just keep them coming. Just subscribe to Guru's YouTube channel. He has a lot of Raxla vids, so I know where I'll be spending a lot of my time in the future. I too am a huge Pink Floyd fan, and claim to fame for me, sort of, is that the video of Another Brick in the Wall, We Don't Need No Education, was actually filmed at my secondary school at the Britannia Row studio just around the corner. That's from the YouTube comments. All right, you go ahead. Arson?
Yep, I hit the wrong button. Also from the YouTube comments, we have Commander Vass3303 says, a year ago I'd never heard of this Kaizen character, and now everywhere I go in Elite, I hear his name mentioned, or he has some crazy things on the go. And you know what, I bloody love it. Let's have more Kai and less grumpy influencers. Keep up the great work, guys.
Thank you very much, Foss. And thank you very much, Cecilia, who I'm fairly certain is a certain Raxla Smaxla. But yeah, thank you very, very much for the kind words. All right, Greendale's going to take us to task. Greendale wrote in 3 days ago in the comment section and said, bookmarks are fine, but there is no way users would be happy with client-side bookmarks that are not automatically present on multiple installs, not automatically backed up on Frontier's servers, etc. Imagine someone losing their 3,000 bookmarks because it was client-side, and server-side means it is an ongoing cost to Frontier. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that comment, but it's a valid point to keep in mind. I think there's some ways, and let's table that and turn that into a discussion next week, because I think there's some stuff we can do with that could be interesting. All right. Received via email. Let's see, from Commander Buddha J3W. So it's Buddha Jew in Leet speak. Loved the last episode. Just wanted to say that being able to customize the HUD color would be a huge benefit to people with color blindness. Most games these days have some accommodation for color blindness, and the lack of it in the game has a real effect on me sometimes. It would be nice if they implemented a colorblind setting in the menus for different types of color blindness.
but just being able to change the targeting dots would be a huge win for me and many others like me. Good stuff, good stuff. Alec Turner, the birthday boy himself, wrote in to say, great show, guys, on the whole bookmarks thing. You pretty much nailed it, and I've lost count of how many times I've written forum posts asking for this with mock-ups of what the colored folders would look like. It's not like the kind of UI is even new. Go look at the commodity filters in the Galaxy map. We already have colored folders for commodity types, and there are commodities within these folders would be there to actual bookmarks, would be where the actual bookmarks would go. We also need the same ability to untick folders. Example, to only show our racing bookmarks on the map. Obviously, bookmarks on planet surfaces goes without saying. Either added from current positions, or perhaps by entering in coordinates, or by placing pins in the system map globes. Might need to be able to zoom in further to do this feature. Nirakoji from OCSN wrote in to say, bookmark improvements, folders, custom selected icons and colors, search filters, short description boxes for field notes, and sharing with individual commanders or in chat. That would make me very, very happy. And last but not least, Harry Badge wrote in to say, hey, commanders, great show as always. My thought on bookmarks. I forget which ones I have already and end up deleting them half the time, or just trying to rack my brain to figure out why I put in a bookmark. So maybe I just have short-term memory loss or something, but I don't have a need for so many bookmarks. But being able to change the icon so that I would know mining bookmark, or a cool star location, or a ship that I want to get, you know, that's sort of null after Jameson's Memorials, but still, that would be cool. At the very least, color them different colors so I could make my own color list of which are which. That might help me remember what the hell they are. 07 commanders. All right, so that is all of the feedback for last week, and I want to thank everybody for, you know, expressing their thoughts on this. I hope that in the feedback section of this video, in the feedback section of the Discord, or at eliteweek3306@gmail.com, you will also write in, or you can just record an audio, you know, clip of whatever. You can send in your feedback and hear it read out on the air. So yeah, and this week's questions or community topics, discussion topics, are the idea about the custom paint jobs, and the idea about the community-made cockpit radio or jukebox or whatever. All right, that's wrapping us up for the night. Let's go to State of the Game to end this. The two things that I'm seeing on State of the Game are, well, actually, I'm going to let Arson do the second one, which is going to be on the fleet carrier trip thing. But I want to start off with, we're aware of the fact, and this is Frontiers aware, they've acknowledged, they tweeted a few hours ago, two things are going on right now that happened. This happened just a couple hours ago. One, fleet carriers can't jump. Apparently, there's some kind of weird glitch in the database or something that they're working on. And number two, a lot of commanders are having the orange Sidewinder issue, where every time you go to Super Cruise or go to jump into hyperspace, you end up, your screen gets the jitters, it freezes, you tunnel, and then it finally dumps your game and tells you orange Sidewinder. For the second part of it, for the orange Sidewinder thing, close out everything, close it completely close to desktop, get out of Elite Dangerous entirely, refresh it. That should hopefully get you back going. On the fleet carriers unable to jump glitch, Frontier knows about it. They're working on it. Hopefully, you know, maybe while we've been doing this show, they fixed it. If not, hopefully it'll be coming soon. That's all I got.
Jumped mine about 20 minutes ago, so it's working right now.
Beautiful. All right. And Arson, hit up the thing on the fleet carrier notifications.
Yeah, so the next one is there is a lovely Discord referred to as the Fleet Carrier Owners Club. They have been organizing and are still organizing the creation of tools, and one of the things that they're doing is setting up a bunch of taxi services. So this is basically a place if you have a fleet carrier and you want a dedicated platform where you can share your news and when you're moving. This new system that they implemented might be beneficial to you because they have a news channel that has Discord announcement support, which allows people to follow it and put it in their Discord channels. So, for example, we have followed it, and now in our news channel, we'll also get those updates of any time a fleet carrier is going to be doing a run to, say, Colonia or Beagle Point or SAG A. 24 hours in advance of departure, this channel has an announcement that's sent out. In the show notes, there will be a Discord invite if you want to follow that announcement channel and have it sent to your Discord as well. It's being sent to the Elite Week News Discord. But if you are trying to go somewhere, this is going to be a good place to keep an eye out for a ferry ride.
Beautiful. Do you have anything else that you wanted to introduce, Arson?
Not at the moment. No, I don't think so.
Beautiful. That covers that then, because we're way over on time. Admiral Flaps, do you have anything that you want to add? State of the game, anything that you're seeing that you're like,
Yeah, just fleet carriers and tritium is my big gripe at the minute, because I want to go on a big expedition and I wanted to go on that expedition last week. So please get the tritium sorted. But in relation to the game, it does seem to be a wee bit more buggy recently than previous times. But hopefully that's just a temporary issue that can be sorted pretty soon.
All right, beautiful. Tweaked, you're up.
Well, the only state of the game that I've kind of noticed lately is player-based, kind of, sort of. It seems like, in my experience right now, people are kind of in a lull, waiting around probably for the Odyssey update to drop in a few months, getting excited for that and looking at the way things are right now and a little bored. And I would just like to say to all those players out there and to the community that if you're not fully engineered, if you don't have your ships engineered or the materials to do so, there is no better time than right now to get your engineering right. Because once Odyssey does drop, you're going to want to be grinding for the upgrades to the guns, and you're going to want to be on the ground shooting things, and you're not going to want to have to worry about engineering your ships, and you might need some well-engineered ships to take part in some of that Odyssey stuff too. So I would just suggest if you're bored, now's the time to dive into that and get that out of the way.
Hell
Hear,
yeah.
hear.
Hell yeah, I dig that, bro. And the coveted spot of the last words of the podcast go to my best friend in space, Dubs. Hit us up with some knowledge. What are your thoughts on the state of the game this week?
Well, I don't think I have anything to add that hasn't already been covered during the podcast as far as the state of the game goes. I mean, it's the general idea of fixed tritium so that we can use our fleet carriers out in the black more successfully. Other than that, I'm fairly happy with most of what's happening. I'm not crying about the big mining nerf, but yeah. Other than that, I'm good.
Beautiful. Arson, say goodnight to the good, beautiful people. Give them your catchphrase, whatever.
Good night. And I'm leaving you with that.
Say goodnight to the beautiful people.
Good night, everyone, and remember, when outfitting your ships, stay strapped or get clapped.
Yeah. Tweaked, hit us up. Drop some knowledge.
The beautiful people, the beautiful people. As always, guys, don't fly without a rebuy. I know that's an old saying, but believe me, people forget it and have suffered because of it. So,
and mine is going to be the same as always. As Bill and Ted once said, be excellent to each other. And now, the final words. Rear Admiral Flaps, say goodbye to the beautiful people.
Good night, everybody, and may the tinfoil be with you.
Arson, play us out.